The 1992 World Series is a special presentation of CTV Sports.
Last night in Toronto, this was no kids' game. The lines were drawn for the battles of October, filled with unforgettable World Series moments. Funny thing about baseball, just when you start to taste victory, there's always somebody else who cleans your plate. And you talk about hungry. In the bottom of the ninth, this battle was settled. And the Atlanta Braves found themselves away from home in a dome, down 2-1. The good news? Guess who's coming to dinner tonight? Well, take a look around this city, and about all you see are smiles. Toronto's Blue Jays are up 2-1 in the World Series, and suddenly the good folks north of the border have let 15 years of frustration fade into dreams of the future. Their heroes are also dreaming, but they know that there is still work to be done, lots of it. Tom Glavine, who starts for the Braves, probably hasn't had much time to dream, and pitching on 3 days rest, he must reprise his Game 1 performance in order to even this series one more time. So come on in and welcome once again to Skydome, where the roof may be closed, but the proud fans have taken the lid off their enthusiasm. And hi again, everybody. I'm Pat O'Brien. Welcome to our CBS Sports continuing coverage of the 1992 World Series. And you know, maybe this is why they call it the Fall Classic. 5 of the last 8 World Series games have been determined on the final pitch. And my partner tonight, for some reason, is wearing a Bugs Bunny tie. Kitty Cott, I must say, what's up, Doc?
Well, what's up? The Atlanta Braves hope that Jimmy Key's pitches are up. Obviously, it's a critical game for Atlanta. And what a team normally has to do when you come off a tough loss like the Braves had last night are establish things in the early going. Tom Glavine, I think, has to shut the Toronto batting order down early, and I think the Braves have to find a way to generate some runs against Jimmy Key. I think that's key for them tonight.
And pull a rabbit out of their caps, maybe. Tonight it will be Tom Glavine for Atlanta, and for Toronto, a fresh face in this World Series and a very fresh arm. Jimmy Key, who was the Blue Jays' hottest pitcher in September. And while Glavine will go on 3 days rest, Key is a veritable Rip Van Winkle. He's enjoyed 16 days of rest. And what about that?
Well, the 3 days rest for Tom Glavine, I laugh at that a little bit. The only factor is the fatigue in the legs. If you're coming back on 3 days rest, your legs might get a little bit tired. That means late in the game you don't drive toward the hitter as well, and you leave the ball up. But usually you have much better touch and feel, and I would expect to see Tom Glavine go with that same low and away pattern that he did in Game 1. Jimmy Key, on the other hand, I think mentally, you go to the mound and overcome the fact that you haven't pitched much in the last month. Don't lean on that for an excuse. Assume you're going to hit Pat Border's glove and throw the ball low and away. The danger is, with a lot of rest, you tend to leave too many balls up in the strike zone early, and that could be a problem for him tonight.
After 3 games, one of the trends emerging is the inability of the Braves to hit and drive in runs. Atlanta's team batting average is under 200 with only 2 extra base hits. The meat of the Braves order, Terry Pendleton, David Justice, and Sid Bream, have only 2 RBIs among them.
Yeah, and that's pretty easy to figure out. It's the Toronto pitching staff. There's nothing wrong with those hitters, but when you run into Juan Guzman in a perfect Toronto bullpen, hitters that are good hitters during the season become average hitters in postseason play because you're always seeing outstanding pitching.
You know, with so much at stake, sometimes you just got to make things happen on your own. And so now that they're down 2-1, a couple of Braves have decided to retool. Yesterday, Pendleton and Bream placed rush orders for new sticks they hope will give them some added chop at the plate. And if they aim to even this series, they'll definitely need a couple of those smoking bats to get hot real soon, like tonight. The bats arrived here today at noon after clearing customs. And when we come back, Jim Cott and Tim McCarver, our own World Series battery, will show us how the Blue Jays jump-started their motors in that exciting ninth inning last night as Baseball 92 rolls on from north of the border to the deep south here on CBS.
To keep your walking baby drier and happier, there's Pampers Faces for walkers. They're narrow between the legs, yet they stop leaks better. Better than this other leading diaper. Pampers helps keep your baby dry, phase after phase.
There is a country that is recognized all over the world for its generosity and compassion. That country is Canada. For many, Canadian peacekeepers are a living proof of that generosity. Right now, there are over 2,000 Canadian peacekeepers serving in United Nations missions all over the globe, something they have been doing since 1947. Drawn from every province and territory, our peacekeepers have come to be recognized for many qualities, but one in particular, their dedication in working through problems and bringing people together. Canadians never lose their understanding and respect for people. It is a part of what it means to be a Canadian. It's in all of us.
The kids spent all day in that big fridge box, cutting out doors, coloring in windows. At one point, I looked inside, and there they were, fast asleep. Wish I had a picture.
Don't miss the moment. Keep your camera ready with new Kodak Go Plus film for more color than ever before. You can't keep the moment without Kodak.
My bleach can't cut it.
Not on greasy dirt.
What's better than bleach?
New Liquid Comet Bleach Cleaner beats bleach clean. It's bleach plus a cleaner to get that greasy kitchen dirt. New Comet Bleach Cleaner.
Beats bleach clean.
Jays fan knows how impressive this remarkable facility is, but tonight they also seem to have quiet confidence in their home team that plays here, and they're going up against Tom Glavine, who is the only pitcher in this series who has pitched a complete game in this World Series. And I talked to him this morning, pretty loose today, and he said he's ready to try to get the job done tonight for his Atlanta Braves. A lot of wheels were turning last night in that ninth inning, and we turned to our strategy masters, Jim Cott and Tim McCarver, to put their tight spin on how the Jays made the big plays.
Pat, I think last night's bottom of the ninth inning will be etched in baseball fans' minds for a long, long time to come. Roberto Alomar, the human starting kit, opens things up in the ninth inning, and that runs the starter, Steve Avery.
Yeah, and I think it really opened things up because the key at bat for me was Joe Carter's at bat coming in against Mark Wohlers. You have scouting reports on teams, and sometimes I think managers let those take over for their instincts. Roberto Alomar on first base be an example. Why would you pitch out on the first pitch with a pitcher like Mark Wohlers who doesn't have exceptional control? Why? Because Alomar steals early in the count, but he didn't. He waited till it was 2-0, then he stole second, then Carter walks, and to me the inning began to unravel right there.
Everybody knew that Joe Carter wasn't going to bunt. He had only sacrificed once all year, but so had Dave Winfield. Did that surprise you at all?
Well, I know that Winfield has bunted before, not often, but I also know he takes a lot of pride in being able to do things like that. And you knew that Cito Gaston at that point was going to do whatever it took to get those runners over. And I don't know if it was surprising, but it was impressive to see a power hitter like Winfield perfectly executed bunt.
But the most interesting thing in the inning for me was Cito Gaston pinch hitting for John Olerud. That was the first meaningful pinch hit for John Olerud all year long. He'd been pinch hit for 3 times, but all of them were meaningless, and he comes up with the hero of Game 2, Ed Sprague.
It tells you what World Series play will do to managers' decisions. Cito Gaston will sit there and tell you, I'll never pinch hit for John Olerud because he hits left-handers rather well. But you watch Mike Stanton one night and see how he handles left-hand hitters, and you change your mind. And there comes the intentional walk into play, and that's an interesting play because percentage-wise, there are a lot of managers that will show you results where 80% of the time, when you put a man on with the intentional walk, it'll backfire. Last night it happened twice, Justice and Sprague. Both times it resulted in runs.
I mean, here's a guy, Mike Stanton, who's one of the hottest pitchers in postseason play. And last year overpowering the Minnesota Twins. He's been effective this year, and he was used to intentionally walk a hitter. That's a little strange to me.
Yeah, I think managers, and once again, baseball is a slow-paced game, but you make your decisions quickly. And I think Atlanta got caught in a position where Jeff Reardon was not in a favorable position to succeed. It's much easier to hit a fly ball off Jeff Reardon at this stage of his career, and I don't think that was a good matchup for Atlanta, Candy Maldonado against Jeff Reardon.
I talked to Bobby Cox and I asked him about Jeff Reardon. I said, will last night's performance, Sunday night's performance, affect his future in the World Series? And he said, maybe.
I think that's a case where maybe the previous 2 will affect the third choice.
What do you think, Patrick?
Timmy, I think you guys look pretty darn comfortable talking baseball down there in the dugout. And who knows what twists and turns will be woven into tonight's plot. Stay tuned. Baseball 92 will continue live from Skydome in a moment. Stay with us.
With no heat pasteurizing and no preservatives, all it needed was a new shape. New Labatt Genuine Draft in the 30-sided can.
Before you vote on October 26th, take a look at the entire Charlottetown Agreement. What it proposes are commitments to a new social and economic union, self-government for Aboriginal peoples, Senate reform, a rebalancing of government roles and responsibilities, a distinct society clause for Quebec. It's your right to be informed. It's important for you and for your country.
This is an ordinary fiber laxative. It's full of grit. This is Sunrise Smooth Metamucil. The grit is gone because it's triple ground for smoothness. Unlike ordinary fiber, Sunrise Smooth mixes easily and stays mixed without the grit. It's the easiest mixing, smoothest tasting, natural source fiber to relieve constipation. New Sunrise Smooth Metamucil for regularity. The grit is gone.
Hello, Canada. Rod Black and the CTV Sports team with you tonight near the roof of the Skydome. We've got a great vantage point. We're going to be in and around this stadium tonight, providing you with sports breaks. Just down there last night, Devon White made that unbelievable catch at the wall. We're going to see you a little later. It's going to be a great night for baseball. Enjoy.
Devon White at full speed went back to the wall to haul in this David Justice blast with 2 runners on in the 4th inning last night. Shades of the 1954 World Series when Willie Mays made his amazing catch of a Vic Wertz blast. Say hey. We'll be back after this word from your local station. Stay with us.
Who said paradise was lost? This is our reward for using the card. Every time we did, the points kept building, and it was smooth sailing from there.
The Membership Rewards Program. Use the card, reap the rewards.
One blissful weekend away from the kids. That's our reward for using the card. Every time we did, the points kept building. You know, I could learn to like this.
The Membership Rewards Program. Use the card, reap the rewards.
Take the wrong cold medicine, and you could be sneezing at 1 a.m. or feverish at 3 or coughing at 5 and poor you at 7. But with NyQuil, you get all the relief you need so you can get all the rest you need. Why wake up like this with the wrong medicine when you can wake up like this with NyQuil? NyQuil, the nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, stuffy head fever, so you can feel better the next morning medicine.
With brighter colors and sharper contrast, Sony Trinitron's exclusive one-gun picture tube catches all the action. Sony, the best picture on the mound.
You know, 2 out of 3 dentists surveyed recommend brushing with baking soda.
So we're pleased to see new Colgate Fluoride toothpaste with baking soda.
It combines the cleaning and whitening qualities of baking soda with Colgate's proven fluoride protection against cavities.
And it has a fresh, minty taste.
So with all this going for it, there's just one thing we want to know.
Just who is this third dentist?
New Colgate toothpaste with baking soda for clean and healthy teeth.
Welcome back to Baseball 92. You know, the people of Canada have shown a great love for baseball and have been outstanding hosts to all of us here. We hope that last night's essay by satirist Bill Geist was taken in the good-natured spirit in which it was intended. That is our hope here at CBS. And now it's time to honor 2 friendly neighbors, the United States and Canada. And here is Skydome public address announcer Murray Eldon.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Curb MCA recording artist Winona Judd. National Anthem. Winona is accompanied by the U.S. Marine Color Guard and the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Color Guard.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
To sing the Canadian National Anthem, a native of Ontario whose latest release, Now and Then, has received gold status. Please welcome Michelle Wright.
Our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons' command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise.
on deck. Game 4 of the 1992 World Series. The Braves and the Blue Jays here on CBS.
First, the press spoke.
Road and Track magazine named Infiniti Q45 one of the 10 best cars in the world.
Then the owners spoke.
A survey of U.S. new car owners ranks Infiniti best overall car line in initial quality.
But the last word is ours. Introducing the new J30 from Infiniti, the most distinctive, most elegant sedan in the world. Period.
Hi, Blanche. Hey, guess where I'm calling you from? That's right, I am calling you from the plane. Yeah, I'm using their airphone. Well, you gotta love Bell Mobility, huh? Yeah, they got everything I need to stay in touch. Yes, it is the same company I got my cellular phone and my pager from. Listen, Blanche, any messages there? Revenue Canada, my accountant, and my wife? Tell them you have no idea how to reach me. And Blanche, book me a connecting flight. Yeah, Sumatra. No, not Frank, the country.
No matter where you need to go in the USA, American Airlines can take you there. Through Terminal 3, we give you access to over 200 U.S. destinations, more than any other airline, including daily nonstops to New York and Chicago. Add to this Americans Advantage Travel Awards program and service by the best people. That's why business in America is the business of American.
At Discount, renting a car for the weekend is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Take a minute now, listen to me. Rent for 2 weekends, the third one's free.
That's right, free. Just rent a car for any 2 weekends, and your third weekend's free. We'll pick you up and drop you off. Free. So you're free to go anywhere, do anything. Discount weekends. Easy as 1, 2, free. Call Discount. We want your business, and we'll come right to your door to get it.
A CTV News Update. Here is Lloyd Robertson.
Good evening. Some stories we're following. Weapons-grade plutonium on the high seas. What's the Canadian connection? Also ahead, protesters by the thousands. British coal miners march on London to keep their jobs. These and other stories later on the CTV News.
Welcome back to Sky Dome. You know, you talk about how big this game is. Ontario's premier, Bob Rae, reportedly made a friendly wager with his counterpart in Georgia, Governor Zell Miller, that if the Blue Jays have to go back to Atlanta for a Game 6, he'll give him the CN Tower. If not, Atlanta will give Toronto the 1996 Olympic Games. We think he was kidding. Getting ready now for Game 4. Let's send it on up to Tim and Sean in the booth. Gentlemen.
Thank you, Pat. Maybe somebody can give Pat O'Brien a chair as well as he gets ready for Game 4 of the World Series tonight, with Toronto leading 2-1 after 3 terrific ball games. As a matter of fact, neither team has led in this series by more than 2 runs at any time. Atlanta's only win came at home in Game 1. Damon Berryhill's 3-run homer in the 6th inning off Jack Morris gave the Braves a 3-1 victory. Another unlikely hero in Game 2, Ed Sprague hit a pinch-hit 2-run homer in the 9th off Jeff Reardon as Toronto took it 5-4. Then last night in the first World Series game ever outside the United States, Candy Maldonado's bases-loaded single in the bottom of the 9th off Reardon gave the Jays a 3-2 win. So tonight it is on to Game 4 with 2 left-handers on the mound, and that means Toronto will use the same lineup it used to win last night, while Bobby Cox goes to what he calls his all right-handed hitting lineup.
Yeah, and 8 of the 9 are right-handed hitters. David Justice is the only left-handed batter in the lineup for the Atlanta Braves, but his lifetime average against left-handed pitching is .301. John Olerud, the only other left-hander in the lineup, he's batting 6th for the Toronto Blue Jays, and he also has a very, very good batting average for his lifetime against left-handed pitching.
We heard Jim Conn on the pregame show talk about the similarity between these 2 starting pitchers, Tom Glavine of Atlanta and Jimmy Key of the Toronto Blue Jays. It's hard to hear yourself here in Sky Dome as they take the field. But what about the approach to batting against these fellas?
Well, the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to pull the left-hander if you're a right-handed batter. The one thing you try to do is keep your front shoulder in there and try to hit the ball back through the box. Players have a saying for that. They say we try to hit it back through the originator. The one thing you don't want to do, as we said, is try to pull either left-handed pitcher because their strength is low and away. Because if you try to pull them, you're going to play pepper with the shortstop all night long. That's what right-handed hitters don't want to do, hit the ball to the left side of the infield.
Let's check in with our originator, Jim Cott.
All right, Sean, based on what Tim said, the strike zone could be a very important factor tonight. Because both lefties want to keep the ball down and away, if home plate umpire Dan Morrison's strike zone is not as generous as Jerry Crawford's was in Game 1, Glavine and Key will have to bring the ball up and over the plate a little bit more, and then we may see a high-scoring game. Sean?
Thank you, Jim. The starting lineup tonight for the Atlanta Braves against Jimmy Key. Otis Nixon leads off in center field. Jeff Blauser, the shortstop. Terry Pendleton batting third at third base. The cleanup hitter is DH Lonnie Smith. David Justice, the only left-handed hitter in the lineup, in right field. Ron Gant back in the lineup in left field. Brian Hunter batting seventh at first base. The catcher Damon Berryhill bats eighth. And batting ninth, the second baseman Mark Lemke.
The defense for the Toronto Blue Jays, Candy Maldonado, he had an assist last night. He had 12 during the regular season. He'll be in left field. Devon White with that remarkable catch last night, an almost triple play for the Blue Jays against the Braves. Joe Carter once again in right field this evening. Kelly Gruber will be the third baseman. Manuel Lee at shortstop. Roberto Alomar in that great range at second base. John Olerud at first base. And Pat Borders once again behind the plate.
And on the mound making his World Series debut, 31-year-old left-hander Jimmy Key, who finished the regular season at 13-13, but he won each of his last 5 decisions. Key is ready to go, and another sellout crowd is on hand at Sky Dome. They expect nearly 52,000. Otis Nixon leads off. He's a switch hitter. And he's looking to end an 0-for-11 drought since he singled on the first pitch in the first inning in Game 1 off Jack Morris. We're underway. 1 strike on Nixon, who fouled one back to the screen. Otis was a better right-handed hitter during the regular season.
You saw only 22 RBIs for the leadoff batter. What leadoff hitters want to do, score a lot of runs. And from the leadoff position, the Atlanta Braves led the National League this year with 116 runs scored. They also got 200 hits out of that position. Only the Reds and the Expos had 200 hits from their leadoff guys.
The 1-1 pitch is a breaking ball low and in. Jimmy Key is a native of Huntsville, Alabama. And a product of Clemson University. Nixon has his second hit of the series. His first since the first inning of Game 1. He slapped one into right, and the Braves have the lead man on. Dan Morrison, as Jim Cott mentioned, in the spotlight as the home plate umpire tonight. Bob Davidson at first, John Shulock at second, Jerry Crawford at third. Mike Riley is along the left field line, and Joe West is in right.
We talked about how to approach Jimmy Key, and you can only tell by the first hitter. Otis Nixon's approach was perfect. Sinker away, and he lined one to right.
Nixon at 41 stolen bases during the regular season, and Key has an excellent pickoff move. It'll be a bit more difficult for the Braves to run tonight against the tandem of Key and Borders.
It'll be a bit more difficult with Bob Davidson at first base. Bob Davidson, more than any other National League umpire, calls a lot of balks.
Affectionately known as Bach and Bob by some in the National League. One strike on Jeff Blauser, who waits as Nixon draws another throw. Otis a perfect 2 for 2 in the World Series in stolen bases.
first is Otis Nixon.
I mean, Otis Nixon is just flat out nailed at first base. You see him lean towards second, back too late to first. Fine move by Jimmy Key.
He was out with room to spare. Now Blauser takes a ball, and it's 1-1. After Otis Nixon was called out by Bob Davidson, Pat Corrales, the first base coach, did speak with the first base umpire about the move. It wasn't a heated protest, but a point was made by Pat Corrales to the first base umpire. There's Pat.
Pat, a former Major League manager. He managed the Philadelphia Phillies and the Cleveland Indians. Also the Texas Rangers.
3 balls and a strike now on Blauser, whose only hit in this series was in Game 2. A single. Key, a relatively quick worker, and Blauser singles to center. Again, Tim, we see the approach that you spoke of at the top of the telecast, taking Jimmy Key to the opposite field or up the middle.
And we said it in the pregame comments. See, if that ball's on the sweet part of the bat, if you try to pull it, you pull it to the left side of the infield and hit it weakly on the end of the bat. But keeping the left shoulder in there for a right-handed batter is essential to hit Jimmy Key well, or for that matter, Tommy Glavine.
So the pickoff looks even bigger now as Terry Pendleton stands in. He started to find his stroke last night when he went 2 for 4. He's now 3 for 12 in the World Series. Back-to-back hits to start the ball game for Atlanta, but Otis Nixon was picked off. Pendleton showed bunt and took a breaking ball low. Jimmy Williams, the third base coach, threw the signs for Pendleton and Blauser. Strike. 1-1. Like Otis Nixon, Terry Pendleton, a much better hitter from the right side of the plate. He hit .354 right-handed during the regular season, and he's hitting .625 in the postseason from the right. That's 5 for 8 for Pendleton against left-handed pitching in the postseason. Blauser at first and 1 out. We're in the top of the first inning in Game 4 of the World Series. Blauser with a delayed steal, and the throw did not get him. Well, that was kind of strange. Blauser, fooled by the move, got a very late start. It looked like a hit and run as Pendleton swung through the pitch, but Jeff wound up safe at second nonetheless.
I think he called it right both ways, really. It looked like a delayed steal and a hit and run. I think what Jeff was thinking, you've got to make sure against a guy like Jimmy Key, you make sure that he doesn't throw to first base. The obligation is on the hitter to put the ball in play. The Braves end up getting a stolen base out of it, however.
You see, Borders didn't realize that Blauser was running. He hesitated before delivering to second. Pendleton hammers one to short. Lee the catch, throw to second, not in time. And Alomar goes leaping over Blauser. So another ball well struck by the Braves. But Pendleton hit it right at the shortstop Lee, and they had a chance to double off Blauser.
That was a curveball, and the third line drive in a row hit off Jimmy Key. Alomar, who was playing Pendleton straight away, is late on arriving and hurdles Jeff Blauser. Like Edwin Moses on that play, huh?
Now Lonnie Smith. That 1 for 4 came last night. He singled a drive and a run in the 8th inning. At the time it gave Atlanta a 2-1 lead. Smith in his 60th postseason game. This is the 5th World Series in which he has appeared. 1-1 the count.
And if the Braves can come back and win, Lonnie Smith will be the first player ever to play on 4 world champion teams, different teams. The Phillies in 1980, the Cardinals in 1982, the Kansas City Royals in 1985, and if Atlanta can win it this year, the Braves.
Fastball, occasionally Key will try to sneak the fastball over the inside part of the plate or off the inside of the plate to keep the hitters honest. That one missed, and it's 2-1. Two outs and a runner at second. No score in the top of the first. Smith checked his swing and took a ball low and away. Jeff Blauser is the runner at second. Now the 3-1 to short. Lee throws him out. After half an inning, the Braves nothing, and the Blue Jays coming up.
Your Ford and Mercury dealers believe having a family doesn't mean you can't enjoy a sporty vehicle. Now for only $16,995, you can get the ideal family vehicle with a sports package featuring front-end spoiler, aluminum wheels, striping, and Aerotech side panels at no extra charge. Plus standard features like a V6, air conditioning, automatic, and more. Introducing the 93 Aerosport. While quantities last, get Aerosport for only $16,995 with a no-charge sports package. 93 Aerosport. Think of it as the family sports car.
Just outside the Blue Jays dressing room, an incredible sight. Thousands of banners and posters and signatures from everywhere across Canada. Calgary, Alberta, Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. Their best wishes, their messages, and even a marriage proposal from a 6-year-old girl in Penticton, BC, who is asking Robbie Alomar to marry her. The kind of support the Blue Jays get from coast to coast. Center fielder Devon White leads off for the Toronto Blue Jays tonight. Roberto Alomar batting second at second base. Joe Carter is the right fielder. The cleanup hitter DH Dave Winfield. Batting fifth at first base John Olerud. Batting sixth in left field Candy Maldonado. The third baseman Kelly Gruber bats seventh. Hitting eighth and doing the catching Pat Borders, and the shortstop Manuel Lee bats ninth. That is the lineup. The Blue Jays send up against 26-year-old lefty Tom Glavine, who was the winning pitcher for Atlanta in Game 1 as he went the distance.
He pitched a 4-hitter on Saturday, the only complete game of this series, and his only 2 postseason wins have been in the World Series. He is 2-5 in postseason play, a 20-game winner this year.
For the second consecutive year, Devon White digs in. Just 1 for 13 in the World Series. He had an RBI single in Game 2. No scores. The Jays bat for the first time tonight. And White looked at Glavine's first pitch, low and away. And a strike, 1-1.
It'll be interesting to see if the Toronto Blue Jay hitters adjust to Tommy Glavine, and if they do, we'll see if Glavine changes his pattern of Game 1, and that was low and away to right-handers.
Good breaking ball. White questions the call by Dan Morrison. 1 ball and 2 strikes. White made what Dave Winfield calls the greatest catch in World Series history last night.
Jim Cott alluding to the fact that Dan Morrison has a very honest, rigid strike zones, very structured, by the book. No gimmies with Dan Morrison.
Glavin might have had a few gimmies from Jerry Crawford in Game 1 as he nibbled at that outside corner. Two-2 pitch, fouled out of play. Being aware of Jim Cott's reputation on the golf course, not too many gimmies coming from him either. Now the 2-2. That's an example of a pitch that might have gone Glavin's way in Game 1. Instead, it's a full count. That was a great catch by White last night, and it nearly started a triple play, which would have been only the second in World Series history. That's through the middle, and again, the approach to these left-handers. Up the middle or to the opposite field. White used it to come up with just his second hit of the World Series.
The defense for the Atlanta Braves. Ron Gann in left field and Otis Nixon in center. David Justice with a strong arm in right. Terry Pendleton at third base. Jeff Blauser, the shortstop. Mark Lemke at second base. Brian Hunter, the first baseman. And once again, Damon Berryhill behind the plate.
And the batter is Roberto Alomar, who's only 2 for 12 in the series, but he started the ninth inning last night with a single, stole second, and scored the winning run. He turned a bunt, took it back, and looked at a ball. Rich Hacker is the third base coach for the Blue Jays. Devon White has not attempted a stolen base in the World Series. He hasn't been on much.
He had 37 and 41 tries during the regular season. Only Henry Cotto of the Seattle Mariners had a better ratio. But he was caught 4 times in the American League Championship Series. How do you figure? I don't know.
That's amazing. Only thrown out 4 times during the entire regular season and 41 tries. Then he's thrown out 4 times in 6 games against Oakland.
I think one of the reasons, Terry Steinbach.
And the Oakland pitching staff, which Cito Gaston says does the best job of holding runners on of any staff in baseball. Glavin with the slide step. That's a double play ball if they hurry. And no chance as White was on top of Lemke. 1 out. They erase the lead runner. And it's Alomar at first base with 1 down in the first, no score.
Once again, that's what we were talking about in the opening. White with the ideal approach to Tommy Glavin, and Roberto Alomar with the approach that's going to get you a lot of ABs without any hits. The ground ball to shortstop.
Joe Carter digs in. He's 3 for 10 with 2 solo home runs, one of those at the expense of Tom Glavin in the 4th inning of Game 1. It was the only run surrendered by Atlanta that night. Carter pops it up, first base side. It will be close. Hunter to the rail without a play. It's 2 rows deep. Tim, the philosophy about which you've been speaking, to go up the middle and go to the opposite field, is it more difficult for these power hitters in the middle of the order like Carter to take on that mindset?
That's an interesting question. I think they do the same thing. By taking on that approach to hitting, that doesn't mean you can't pull the ball. If the ball's inside, your hands will react to the inside pitch. You hit the outside pitch and the inside pitch the same way. But you've got to have the right approach, and everything keys off the front shoulder.
Carter waiting for the 0-1 pitch with 1 out and Alomar at first. Robbie 6 for 6 in stolen bases in the postseason. He was heading back to first as Glavin delivered the pitch. Here's Jim Cott.
Sean and Tim, you'll see the apparatus that Robbie Alomar and Devon White wear. I think you'll see a lot more base runners do it in the future. It's the same kind of a guard you'd wear on your wrist if you were doing inline skating or rollerblading. When you slide, it'll give you some protection on the palm. It'll keep you from hyperextending your wrist. High-tech baseball.
Alomar had had much of a chance to employ that guard prior to last night when he stole his first stolen base of the World Series. It came at the most opportune time for the Jays as they won 3-2 to take a 2-1 lead. He's not running. Carter pulls it slowly to third. Pendleton's only play at first. He intentionally threw it into the turf to speed it up, and Carter is out. Alomar to second with 2 down.
The first infielder that made this throw by design was Davey Concepcion, the shortstop of the Cincinnati Reds. A one-hopper to first base. That, as Sean said, was by design.
And now Dave Winfield. Like Carter, he's 3 for 10 in the series. Winfield does not have a home run. All 3 of his hits singles. He's had 1 hit in each of the first 3 games. No score. The Blue Jays threaten with 2 down in the bottom of the first, and Roberto Alomar at second base. Breaking ball stayed outside. 1-0 on Winfield. Bobby Cox waited a while before naming Tom Glavine the starter for Game 4. He wanted to see how Glavine bounced back after throwing 126 pitches in Game 1. Glavine threw on the side here on the off day at Sky Dome on Monday and threw extremely well, and that erased any doubt that Bobby Cox might have had in his mind. There is the Atlanta skipper who was ejected from last night's game by home plate umpire Joe West when he threw a helmet out onto the playing field. Bobby told us before the game, as we suspected last night, he did not mean to throw the helmet onto the field, tried to bounce it off the step, but he missed. Winfield has appeared in 2 World Series, this one in the 1981 World Series while a member of the New York Yankees. He was 1 for 22. Alomar heads to third without a throw. During the regular season, Alomar stole third base 12 times. Only Marquise Grissom of Montreal stole third more often, and he stole third 24 times.
Twice as many as Alomar. Craig Biggio and Luis Polonia also stole third 12 times. It is not often with 2 outs that you steal third without a throw, but Terry Pendleton holding his position.
Winfield up the middle. Lemke from behind the bag throws him out. A nice play to end the inning. The Blue Jays threaten but do not score. After 1 at the Sky Dome, no score.
Some say the Mississippi Delta is the home of the blues.
Well, I'm going down the road and stop at Fannie Mae.
Others say Chicago.
Gonna tell Fannie what I heard. A boyfriend said, don't start me talking. I'll tell everything.
But really, you'll find some cool blues right in your own backyard.
I'm gonna break up this signal fight.
Honest and true. You bet it's blue.
Got to go.
Hold that tiger, hold that tiger, hold that tiger, hold that tiger.
Yes, the SO Tiger's back. Back to remind you that our long-standing commitment to service still holds true today. Whether it's full serve or self-serve, we'll do our best to get you on your way as fast as we can. At SO, giving you good service is how we earn our stripes.
You're on your way.
With SO.
How do you feel? I feel great. You feel terrible. Do you want to make some money? Okay. You feel terrible.
The New York Times calls Night in the City a lively, gripping foray into the urban landscape.
No can do. What's no can do? What's that, a Chinese appetizer?
Not since Raging Bull has there been such a performance.
This is it, man.
Gritty, intense, powerhouse performances from De Niro and Lange.
You want to kill me? I'll give a damn!
I'll bring you home, baby.
Night in the City starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
Any major purchase involves a leap of faith. Buy a Nissan and it doesn't have to. You're protected by the Nissan Satisfaction Commitment. the most comprehensive customer care program in Canada. It comes at no extra cost and has no deductibles. Because at Nissan, we believe warranty should protect the people who drive the cars, not the people who make them. Nissan, built for the human race.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV. Sponsored by Labatt Blue. Honest and true, you bet it's blue.
And that falls under the category of some pictures need no commentary. Jimmy Key working to David Justice. In the second, no score in the ball game. Justice, the only left-handed hitting starter in the lineup tonight for Atlanta. He's 2 for 8 in the World Series. Just inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Justice, Gant, and Hunter for the Braves in the second. Atlanta hit several balls sharply in the first inning with nothing to show for it. The pickoff of Otis Nixon, a very big play. Chop foul, 1-2.
The Blue Jays are not playing Justice as much to pull as they would against a right-handed pitcher. Manuel Lee is on the left side of the infield, and that's because David Justice doesn't pull left-handers like he does right-handers. The gap between Alomar and the second base bag, that's the biggest gap on the infield.
Roberto really a short fielder in this instance.
Short right.
Shallow right. A softball. Jimmy Key, second toughest against left-handed batters in all of Major League Baseball this season. Only Mark Langston fared better among pitchers against left-handed hitters. The 1-2 to Justice. Another well-hit ball. This one gloved by Olerud to Key for the out.
Now Justice pulling the curveball hard, and Olerud sucks it up. At 3-1 play at one time in baseball about 25 years ago, it was a difficult play to make, but because first basemen and pitchers work so hard on that play in spring training, it's all become rather routine. But there was a time in baseball when it was less so.
Ron Gant, the batter. Gant has not started the last 2 games for Atlanta, in large part because of his hitting woes in the postseason. He's only 4 for 25 in the playoffs and World Series combined. 1 ball and 1 strike on Gant, who is starting in left field tonight. Little fly ball in shallow right. Carter, after a long run, is there. 2 down. We're in the second. The bases are empty. There is no score in Game 4 of the World Series. Now Brian Hunter getting the start tonight at first base against the lefty Key. Brian delivered a sacrifice fly for an RBI in Game 2. Ball 1, low and away.
Hunter awfully strong, 14 home runs and only 238 at-bats this year. If Brian could be traded to a team where he could get 500 at-bats a year, I think he'd be a 30 home run guy.
12 of his 14 home runs against left-handed pitchers. We saw most of his action against lefties while dividing time with Sid Bream at first base. Against left-handers, 12 homers and 158 at-bats. That's 1 every 13 times up. An excellent ratio. The 2-1 pitch is chopped down to third and foul.
It's very difficult to be young and be a platoon player. It's okay if you're Sid Bream, who's on the other end of that platoon, because Sid's been around a long time, starting with the Dodgers, going to Pittsburgh, and now Atlanta. But when you're young and platooned, you get the label that you can't hit right-handers. And I think Brian Hunter could be getting that label.
Hunter's only 24 years old, and he strikes out on the rare high fastball from Jimmy Key. That's the first strikeout of the night for Key. After an inning and a half, there is no score.
Right now, Sears has Road Handler Touring All-Season tires at $50 to $65 off. They come with a 95,000 kilometer warranty. Because, of course, roads don't.
Rain when it's supposed to rain and dry when it's supposed to be dry. A bank that'll give me a break on a loan. Not bad for a bank.
Farms and small business, huh? So, what can you do about the weather?
The Cavalier from Chevrolet.
What if, from your PC, you could command any computer in your organization, no matter who made it? You could recruit the system down the hall, ask the mainframe to fetch applications elsewhere, then tell the printer to print. And if the one company that lets you do this would service not just their computers, but your entire network, could you imagine working with anyone else?
Right now, Sears has Road Handler Touring All-Season tires at $50 to $65 off. They come with a 95,000 kilometer warranty. Because, of course, roads don't.
Tonight's Pick 3 number is 724. Watch Win TV on Night Beat News.
He can't get it. It's off the wall for a base hit. Here comes the tying run, and here comes the winning run.
Cookie Lavagetto's pinch hit two-run double with 2 outs in the ninth ended Bill Bevan's bid to throw the first no-hitter in World Series history. Gave the Dodgers a 3-2 win to even that series at 2 games each. Game 4 in 1947. This is Game 4 in 1992. Scoreless in the bottom of the second. John Olerud took a breaking ball for a strike. With Olerud at the plate, Jeff Blauser, the shortstop, playing way up the middle and on the edge of the outfield. You can't call it the outfield grass. He's beyond the infield line. As Olerud looks for his first hit of the series, he's 0 for 7 with 3 whiffs. Tom Glavine's 1-1 was just inside, and Jim Cott's scouting report on home plate umpire Dan Morrison has held true to form to this point. He has been not as generous with the strike zone as others we have seen behind the plate in this series. No doubt that was a strike. 2-2 on Olerud. He'll be followed by Candy Maldonado and Kelly Gruber. Chopped foul. Cito Gaston didn't post his lineup as early this afternoon as he has for the first 3 games, and he told us he was pondering whether or not to use Olerud against the lefty Glavine. He had Sprague in mind. But this is the lineup that Gaston has gone with just about all year, and you stick with the winning combination. Olerud strikes out. His difficulties continue. He's 0 for 8 with 4 strikeouts. That's the first strikeout of the night for Glavine.
This looked like the circle change from Tommy Glavine, and there's the circle right there. You could see the index finger and the thumb touching. There aren't too many left-handers who throw a changeup to a left-handed batter, and the reason is it's usually to be effective in that down and in area. But a fine pitch to John Olerud.
Now Candy Maldonado sends it out of play, first base side. Maldonado came up in the bottom of the ninth inning with the bases loaded and one out last night and delivered the single over the head of the drawn-in center fielder Otis Nixon. It brought Alomar in with the winning run. 0-2. And the ball outside. Tonight's game is being produced by Bob Dekas and directed by Bob Fishman. We're at the Sky Dome in Toronto for Game 4 of the World Series, scoreless in the bottom of the second. Fastball just off the inside corner. Glavine wanted it, 2-2.
You rarely see Glavine come inside twice in one at bat to a right-handed batter. I don't think he'll come in there anymore.
Does go back away and he misses. Chopped off the plate. That could make it a tough play. Blauser able to catch it in the air. That made it an easier play for the second out of the inning.
Well, Kelly Gruber chopped on Sunday night. Roberto Alomar chopped last night to end the game, and now Candy Maldonado does his version of the chop. A high chopper to Blauser, 2 outs.
Interesting to hear what Roberto Alomar said about that with Jim Kahn on the postgame last night. He said if they can chop at us for the entirety of 2 games down there, we can chop back. Kelly Gruber takes the breaking ball for strike 1. He's only 1 for 9 in the series, but the one hit was a big one, the home run last night off Steve Avery that tied the game at 2. Glavine pours in the fastball. Gruber in the hole, 0-2.
Notice Tommy Glavine is changing his pattern a bit. He's coming inside more on right-handed batters. But if he gets in trouble with men on base, you can bet he'll be low and away, or at least try to the right-handers.
Low and away again. Gruber slapped it down to first. Hunter makes the play himself, and the Blue Jays go in order. After 2, no score.
Grace and strength. That's what begins to define a Buick. A mature, distinctive design, nothing trendy. A seamless flow of line from beginning to end. A feeling of security and control that just seems to make its presence felt. And the very essence and soul of a Buick, a deep and lasting quality.
No matter where you need to go in the USA, American Airlines can take you there. Through Terminal 3, we give you access to over 200 U.S. destinations, more than any other airline, including daily nonstops to New York and Chicago. Add to this Americans Advantage Travel Awards program and service by the best people. That's why business in America is the business of American.
I'll call you. Let's stay in touch. I'll call you. I'll call you. You call, okay? I'll call Mom. I'll call.
Every day?
Every day.
Bell Long Distance Savings Plans. Stay close. Call us and find out how you can save.
I need somebody help, not just anybody help. You know I need someone help.
IBM introduces Helpware. When you need a little help, Helpware is only a phone call away.
Won't you please help me? Help me.
Helpware from IBM. Call 1-800-465-7999 for information.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV. Sponsored by your local bottler of Coca-Cola Classic, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball.
Well, what a way to enjoy a World Series ball game from one of the restaurants in the outfield near the Sky Dome. That's in straightaway center at the Windows Restaurant, just below the rooms in the Sky Dome Hotel that look down on the playing field that have been going for about $1,000 a night for the World Series.
Except for the Blue Jay players, of course. Some of them are residents, full-time residents at the Sky Dome Hotel. Roberto Alomar is one, David Cohn another. There it is.
Those are the hotel rooms above the restaurant. Damon Berryhill, the batter, 1-2 the count. He's just 1 for 11 in the series, but his one hit was the 3-run homer that propelled Atlanta to victory in Game 1. Mark Lemke to follow in the top of the order, and Otis Nixon in the top of the third, no score. Still 1-2. Berryhill has had a tough time making contact in the World Series. He's fanned 7 times, which ties a World Series record for most strikeouts by one player in the first 3 games of the World Series. Hold foul past Jimmy Williams in the third base coach's box. We mentioned Alomar and Cohn live in the Sky Dome Hotel during the year, but they don't have the glamorous rooms that look down over the playing field. They have the lower-priced rooms that look over the railroad tracks. It's really a decidedly different view.
I understand those rooms.
Pitches in the dirt. Berryhill strikes out again, and Borders a nice throw to get him. Borders had to be very careful not to hit Berryhill with the throw as Damon was running down the line. And the throw was right on the money. 8 strikeouts in the series now for Berryhill.
You know, this is a situation where if Berryhill is running where he should be outside the line, the ball stands a better chance to hit him. He was running inside the line, and had he been running properly outside the line, the ball stood a better chance of hitting him. And had that happened, that would have been okay, and he would have been awarded first base. But it was a fine, fine play by Pat Borders.
Now Mark Lemke up there with a count of 0-1. He's 2 for 10 in the series and 0 for his last 5. Facing Jimmy Key, who has now retired 6 in a row after giving up back-to-back singles to start the ball game. One and 2, the count on Lemke. And Key up and in. Jimmy's looking for his 3rd straight strikeout. He fanned Hunter to end the 2nd, and Berryhill leading off the 3rd. Strike 3. Now another World Series moment from Game 4 in 1941.
Pitcher starting his windup out there again. He's all ready now. Watch it. Here it comes. He swung at the ball and missed it. The ball gets away from the catcher, and Henrich goes to first. The umpire says that Henrich swung. It was a clean strike. The ball got away from the catcher, and so Henrich is entitled to first because he got there ahead of the throw.
The Yankees go on to score 4 in the 9th and win that game 7-4. They got 3-1 lead in the series against Brooklyn. Somewhat reminiscent of the play involving Borders a moment ago, except this time Borders threw the runner out. Otis Nixon at the plate. A ball and a strike to count. Otis singled to right field for just his 2nd hit of the series as he started the ball game. With Nixon at the plate, Gruber lingers in front of the bag at 3rd. Olerud, a half step behind the bag at first and close to the line. The 2-1. Popped out of play, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Otis Nixon is known as Otis Nixon in his hometown of Evergreen, North Carolina. That is the way his father's name is pronounced. His parents, Otis and Gracie, no doubt watching the game, as are all of the folks, all 650 of them in Evergreen, North Carolina.
Watching this World Series Odyssey. Otis pulled it down to third to Gruber, who guns him down. 1, 2, 3. Go the Braves again.
That was good. I like that.
We'll return to Skydome after this word from your local station. I knew you would.
To finish, may I suggest something a little sinful?
Yes?
Imagine whipped, creamy, chocolatey filling, nestled between crisp wafers, light as air, then bathed in rich, sinful European milk chocolate. Yes?
Introducing Chocolaires.
Did I lie?
No, but you could.
Chocolaires, sinfully delicious.
Let's shine the new car, boy.
Congratulations, Homer. You got yourself a dandy, deedly doodly car.
Introducing the roomier, more powerful Toyota Corolla.
Pretty jealous, eh, Flanders?
Just a smidgely widgely.
Now with a standard driver's side airbag and more value than ever.
But you know, Homer, I kind of prefer my new car, eh?
Oh, yeah? What kind of car do you have?
Surprise, neighbor! I just bought a new Corolla wagon.
The all-new Corolla by Toyota. A welcome addition to any family.
You know what percentage of the average life is spent outside? 3%. It's ridiculous. I mean, where does it say in our DNA, go inside and stay there? I mean, if our ancestors saw us, they'd laugh. They'd howl. They'd say, dude.
This is the factory of a leading North American tire maker. They make excellent tires with the kind of traction and mileage life you need. In fact, they're so good, we chose them to make Motomaster tires for Canadian Tire. So why don't we identify them? Maybe they're concerned that if you knew they also make Motomaster tires, which come with a nationwide road hazard warranty at no additional charge and a great Canadian Tire price, everybody will buy Motomaster tires. Maybe they're right. Motomaster, Canada's #1 selling replacement tires.
Welcome back to Skydome. No score as we go to the bottom of the 3rd inning in Game 4. Sean McDonough along with Tim McCarver. You mentioned Evergreen is Otis Nixon's hometown.
And we are going to read this card. Research done by Steve Hurt. He's been talking to the postmaster there, Elise Johnson, who is the postmaster from Evergreen, and we found out that Evergreen has 2 Little League ballparks, 2 gas stations, a post office, a fire department, a school that goes from kindergarten to the 8th grade, a farm supply store, a print shop, and a factory. It's 55 miles south of Fayetteville, North Carolina, where Fort Bragg is, and 60 miles west of Wilmington, North Carolina.
About 650 people live in Evergreen, they tell us. That one's heading for Evergreen. Deep to left field, near the pole, and a home run. Pat Borders puts the Blue Jays on the board with a home run off Tom Glavine, just fair down the left field line. It's 1-0 Toronto.
Glavine allowed only 6 home runs during the regular season. In 18 innings, he's allowed 5 home runs in postseason play. And Pat Borders has been sizzling with the bat.
That's his first home run in the World Series. He's now 5 for 10 in this series against Atlanta. He hit a home run in the playoffs as well. Manuel Lee out on the bounding ball to second.
Tommy Glavine was working Borders outside, and he misses. The 1-0 pitch fouled off, and now he tries to come inside. Too much of the plate.
So the Blue Jays have now homered in each of their 10 postseason games this year. Devon White looked at ball one outside. The Blue Jays add to their own record. They set the record last night with a home run in their 9th consecutive postseason game. That's within a single postseason. Now they've done it in 10 in a row. And the count is 1-1 on White. Interesting how that can happen. You mentioned the lack of home runs surrendered by Glavine during the regular season, and it's certainly not because he pitches in a ballpark that has a deep fence. They call it the launching pad at Atlanta.
One of the easiest parks in which to hit in all of baseball. 6 home runs in only 225 innings, and here he's worked 18 2/3, and he's given up 5 in postseason play.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Sliced down the right field line. Fair ball toward the corner. It took a strange bounce out of the right field corner. So strange I had trouble describing it. And Devon White has a double. Takes or took, take your pick. It doesn't matter. It's a 2-base hit all the way.
Well, Devon White once again with the proper approach to Tom Glavine. The slicing double down the line, and a fine piece of hitting by Devon White.
So after coming into the ball game 1 for 13 in the World Series, White is 2 for 2 tonight, and in scoring position with 1 out in the bottom of the 3rd. The Blue Jays lead 1-0 on the Borders home run. And Roberto Alomar is the batter. He reached on a fielder's choice. Advanced to second on a ground out, stole third and was stranded there in the 1st inning. Glavine missed outside with a fastball. Glavine has now surrendered 3 hits. Tommy had retired 6 in a row prior to the home run by Borders. And those numbers a big reason why Alomar had a career-high 76 runs batted in this year.
That is a ton for a number 2 hitter, too.
Palenke was dancing around the second base bag, and Glavine looked White back into second. The 2-0 pitch. High and away, 3 balls and no strikes with Joe Carter on deck.
Very unusual depth in center field. Otis Nixon plays one of the most shallow, or the shallowest, center fields in the major leagues. He has tremendous speed. He and White both have tremendous speed going back on balls, but you don't drop too many in front of either one of them.
And that's ball 4 outside. Alomar walks on 4 pitches. The first walk thrown by Glavine tonight. Glavine did not issue a walk in going 9 innings in game 1. Leo Mazzoni, the pitching coach, on his way to the mound. There is no action in the Atlanta bullpen. One of the few negatives of the Sky Dome from the perspective of fans is that they cannot see into the bullpens from most of the seats here. They are behind the outfield fences. The members of the bullpen sit on raised bleachers so they can see over the outfield fence, and you saw Pete Smith go down the stairs to begin warming up.
From a fan's point of view, you just look down and see who's missing from the bench. And then you decide whether somebody's up and throwing or not for the majority of the fans here.
It is Pete Smith warming up as Joe Carter stands in. Runners at first and second and one out. 1-0 Toronto in the third. Carter looks at the fifth straight ball thrown by Glavine. Carter bounced to third his first time up. Devon White, the runner at second. Roberto Alomar at first. Outstanding speed on the bases for the Blue Jays. And a big hack by Carter. He foul-tipped it into the mid of Berryhill.
When you put speed on the bases like the Blue Jays have, you get the middle infielders moving all around, and often that opens up the holes for the hitters. You have White who can run on at second and Alomar on at first. But look how close Lemke is keeping Devon White.
He was standing right on the bag as the pitch was delivered. That's a double play. Carter lined it right to Blauser. He flipped to Lemke, who had nowhere to go to get to the bag, and that ends the inning. The Blue Jays are on the board on the home run by Borders after 3, 1-0 Toronto.
Lucien Bouchard is leader of the separatist Bloc Québécois. Jacques Parizeau is leader of the Separatist Parti Québécois. They are dedicated to the breakup of Canada. The reason they are smiling is that they are voting no on October 26th, and they think you will too. But there are others counting on your vote as well. On Monday, how you vote will determine whose smiles are more important to you.
A secret no one revealed.
Why haven't you told anyone? Oh, it's 1957, the night after they found all the bodies.
A legend they thought was dead.
Station 193. Nobody knows his real ID. Very dangerous.
A nightmare that will not end.
No! The doctor is in.
Dr. Giggles.
How about a free examination?
Starts Friday, October 23rd at theaters everywhere.
It's come to my attention that our competitors have a new minivan. Our sources say it's different from any other minivan, including ours. Sliding rear seat, standard anti-lock brakes, drives like a car. Who would want a minivan that drives like a car? Certainly not anyone who works for me.
The new Villager, the only car in its class. Quality is job one. It's working.
The only run in this game, the leadoff home run in the third by Pat Borders of Toronto. Jimmy Key begins the fourth with a first pitch ball to Jeff Blauser. Key allowed hits to the first two batters of the night and has allowed nothing since. And the home run by Borders, the only damage done to Tom Glavine. So it's 1-0 Toronto. They're out hitting the visitors 3-2. Blauser singled to center and stole second in the first inning. Key's breaking ball was just inside. 2 balls and a strike. Blauser, then Pendleton and Smith. Batters 2, 3, and 4 coming up for Atlanta.
The big play in this game so far was the pickoff of Otis Nixon at first base. The Braves had Nixon on at first to lead off the game. He was picked off, and then Jeff Blauser got a hit. Otherwise, it's first and third and nobody out. The Braves could have had something going.
And Blauser strikes out. He not noted as a strikeout pitcher, but he has fanned 4 of the last 5 hitters.
I'd say about 70% of swinging strikeouts on balls out of the plate. It's kind of easy to understand. Hitters are trained to hit the ball in the strike zone. But when you're defensive, that's the value of getting ahead if you're a pitcher. You put the hitter on the defense, and he's apt to go after anything, as Blauser did then.
Terry Pendleton, the batter. That's to right field. Carter. 2 down. Game 5 of the World Series comes your way tomorrow night live from Sky Dome. John Smoltz is scheduled to oppose Jack Morris, a rematch of last year's World Series Game 7. Our coverage on CBS begins at 8 Eastern Time. That's tomorrow night, Game 5 of the 1992 World Series. And there's Jack Morris, who was the losing pitcher in Game 1.
Jack's got his game face on early.
Lonnie Smith, the hitter. Key has retired 10 in a row. It will be 11 when this one comes down. Manuel Lee puts it away. The Braves go quickly in order against Jimmy Key in the 4th. Through 3 1/2. The Blue Jays won and the Braves nothing.
Pasteurizing and no preservatives. All it needed was a new shape. New Labatt Genuine Draft in the 30-sided can.
Before you vote on October 26th, take a look at the entire Charlottetown Agreement. What it proposes are commitments to a new social and economic union, self-government for Aboriginal peoples, Senate reform, a rebalancing of government roles and responsibilities, a distinct society clause for Quebec. It's your right to be informed. It's important for you and for your country.
If you depend on your truck to last, here's news you should never forget. Of all the Chevy trucks built in the last 10 years, 98% are still going strong. That's higher than Dodge, higher than Ford, even higher than Toyota. Over the years, no other truck line is that dependable, foreign or domestic. Only Chevrolet. The most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
You can still catch a taste of summer at Swiss Chalet. For just $5.45, enjoy a meaty half rack of our oh-so-succulent side ribs, along with your choice of crispy golden French fries, a garden-fresh chalet salad, or a piping hot baked potato. All for just $5.45. So hurry down to Swiss Chalet because the late summer rib special gets blown away November 18th.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV. Sponsored by Imperial Oil and Esso Associates. You're on your way with Esso.
Fresh off the pregame show, Pat O'Brien enjoying the proceedings from the Sky Dome Hotel at center field.
Payback's going to be tough. Oh, is it ever going to be tough?
Tune in tomorrow at 8.
Oh, baby.
Why did I do that? Tim put me up to it, Patrick.
Oh, yeah, my fault. Right.
Dave Winfield leads off in the bottom of the 4th. He bounced to second his first time up. The Blue Jays batting with a 1-0 lead against Tom Glavine. Winfield, Olerud, and Maldonado coming up, the middle third of the Toronto batting order. Check swing and a ball low and away. Here's Jim Cott.
Well, you could see Tom Glavine cringe on that pitch, Sean and Tim. That was one he got for a strike in Game 1. When you've had success against a team as Glavine has in Game 1, come back 4 days later, thoughts go through your mind. Do I change my pattern or do I wait for them? And it's pretty obvious as you see Devon White and several of the Blue Jays hitters take the ball the other way. You may see Glavine with more inside fastballs, as Tim referred to. Yeah, you have to change before they do. That's that constant establishing and reestablishing the inside and outside parts of the plate.
Now this, Tim, could be a question for either you or Jim Cott. We've talked about Dan Morrison, the home plate umpire, an American League umpire. Would Tom Glavine be aware, as he takes the mound tonight, of Morrison's reputation for having that tight strike zone?
If he saw our pregame show, he would, because that's what Jim Cott said.
Kitty, any scouting reports on umpires available to the pitchers when they go out there? And as he ponders the question, Oldroyd stings one into right field. Winfield stops at second. First and second and nobody out in the fourth inning. Oldroyd's first hit of the World Series. He's now 1 for 9. Struck out his first time up tonight. That's the fourth hit given up by Glavine. And the batter is Candy Maldonado. Jim, would Glavine be aware of that reputation of Dan Morrison before he took the mound tonight?
Well, I think so. There are pitchers in the American League, Roger Clemens for one, who keep track of umpires and which ones favor the pitcher or the hitter. They're all good umpires, but they all have a distinctive strike zone, some small, some bigger.
Candy Maldonado lifts one to left center, not deep. Ron Gant takes charge for the first out of the inning. Winfield tagged, but does not try to go to third. We're in the fourth. The Blue Jays lead 1-0. Maldonado now 0 for 2.
I remember a game in the 1967 series against the Boston Red Sox. I caught for the Cardinals, and Ed Runge was behind the plate. And he told me, I was catching in the first inning, he said, when you're at the plate, swing the bat. You better be swinging the bat, because he would give pitchers pitches 3-4 inches outside, and he was consistent. The father of Paul Runge, a fine umpire in the National League now.
Kelly Gruber, the batter. He tried to bunt, fouled it back to the backstop.
That's a bad play right there. You see Pete Smith still warming for the Braves. You have a runner in scoring position, 2 runners on, the bottom part of the lineup, albeit Pat Borders, who homered the last time up. But when you have guys in scoring position, that's what it means. And you can't score them when you try to bunt. I think that's a bad play by Kelly Gruber.
Gruber broke an 0 for 23 drought last night with a home run, but perhaps his confidence isn't completely back. And he hits a double play ball. 6-4-3, the Braves turn it to get out of the inning. After 4 at the Sky Dome in Toronto, the Blue Jays won and the Braves nothing.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV. Sponsored by Honda, the official car of the Toronto Blue Jays for the past 16 years.
Question: how much will the contents of your garage be worth 3 to 4 years down the road? Whereas many sedans drop more than 30% in value within the very first year, the Honda Accord has a knack of holding its value, as well as it holds the road.
Everybody's got the power to stand up and say it loud. People gotta know just what people can do. There's a change, you can feel it too. Everybody's got the power to do what you wanna do.
Now accomplish what you knew you could do. Find out about affordable Ambro personal computers.
The guy's 50. There's no way he's gonna beat me.
Kid, I'm gonna beat you bad.
The Special K Breakfast. The Special K Breakfast is a good source of protein. Protein that helps maintain and repair body tissue.
Don't worry, son. You'll catch on. Someday. Looking good, Dad.
The Kellogg's Special K breakfast, a good source of protein.
Grandpa, you always go to Esso.
Always have.
But you know why?
Well, they're nice folks. Service is always good.
But did you ever see a tiger?
I'm too old to see tigers.
Too old?
When you get bigger, you don't see tigers anymore. Did you see a tiger?
I'm too big to see tigers.
Me too.
At Esso, giving you good service is how we earn our stripes.
Drop down and make the runner get down. And that's what Lemke did on the double play. Nicely turned by Blauser and Lemke.
Jimmy Key working in the 5th inning. David Justice checked his swing and took a ball. Justice, then Gant and Hunter. Batters 5, 6, and 7 in the Atlanta batting order. Justice bounced out to the first baseman Olerud with Key covering in the 2nd. Jimmy Key allowed back-to-back singles to Nixon and Blauser to start the ball game, and the Braves have not had a runner since. And Atlanta's really pretty fortunate, Tim, to be behind by only 1-0 as the Blue Jays, through 4 innings, have left 3 men on base and also hit into 2 double plays.
2 big double plays, you might add, including the one the last inning.
Key's counterpart, Tom Glavine, has had only 1-1-2-3 inning. Key's working on 3 straight 1-2-3 innings. Five career postseason home runs for Justice, but none in this World Series. He hit 2 in the playoffs against Pittsburgh. He's been very patient at the plate. He walked 6 times in the league championship series. And he's walked 4 times already through 3 games plus in the World Series. Big swing and a miss, 4, strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Jimmy Key. He averaged only 4.9 strikeouts per 9 innings this year, so he's well ahead of that pace.
There are some hitters that are characterized as contact hitters. Well, Jimmy Key is a contact pitcher. He puts the ball in play generally, but the Braves having a tough time making contact this evening.
Ron Gant looked at a ball away. He was out on a fly ball to right in the 2nd inning. Fouled off his foot. 1 ball and 1 strike. Key retired the lead man in this inning, Justice on a strikeout, and that's not a surprise. He was the best starter in the American League this season in retiring the first batter in an inning. Leadoff hitters had only a .228 on-base percentage against Jimmy Key. He walked the leadoff man only 7 times in 224 innings. So he only does that about once every 32 frames. That's on the corner. 2-2 on Gant.
And remember, throughout baseball, a team scores in only 16% of the innings when the leadoff batter is retired. That's how important it is for a guy to get the first guy. If you allow the first guy to get on, that runner scores 51% of the time, a huge jump.
Gant is overdue, 0 for his last 15, including his 0 for 1 tonight. The 3-2 pitch, lifted to left center field. Room for Devon White. 2 away. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Sean McDonough along with Tim McCarver, Jim Cott and Pat O'Brien. Happy to have you with us from the Sky Dome in Toronto, where the Blue Jays lead 1-0. Brian Hunter at the plate with 2 down and the bases empty in the Atlanta 5th. Well hit toward the gap. White on the run, and he's there to make the catch. If it stays in the air long enough, he'll get it. Halfway through game 4, Jimmy Key working on the shutout. It's 1-0 Toronto.
And now, another Coca-Cola sports break. Here's Rod Blau.
It was about 24 hours ago when a little white lightning hit the center field fence out here. Devon White last night up against the wall. A remarkable catch, bringing back memories of a similar catch by Willie Mays almost 40 years ago. How did you gather your sensors too? You fire it in and there's a potential for a triple play. It actually was a triple play, but the umpire didn't call it.
Well, you know, when you have fast runners on the base like Deion Sanders, you don't want to hold the ball too long. So, you know, that's pretty much what you have to think of. You think of who's on base and what you have to do before the play really develops.
There's just one, and there's no mistaking it, one.
Why don't you and me do some fancy stepping tonight?
With that cool style of it, ooh, with that smile, yeah, one.
She's a beautiful dancer. Why, I used to call her Twinkle Toes.
Can you do this one?
Ooh, there's just one.
You're not so bad yourself.
1 calorie just for me.
Some for you.
Thanks.
Some for me.
Diet Coke.
The Blue Jays have made Canadians proud over the last season, I guess. So has Silken Laumann over the Olympics. This is your third time to the Skydome?
That's right, my third time, and I'm going again tomorrow.
You've got World Series fever, have you?
Well, I think I'm jumping onto that bandwagon very happily.
Tell us about life after Barcelona.
Well, it's been pretty crazy. I've been committed to a whole bunch of things, but I went back to Victoria for 2 weeks and had a nice holiday.
I understand the legs being looked after as well?
Yes, I'm going through quite a few surgeries this fall, and hopefully by January it'll be 100% again.
Now, I'm not sure where you're sitting. I think, are those fans a little crazy over there tonight?
Yeah, almost directly opposite where we are right now, and it's just crazy out there.
Well, you have to worry about your eardrums and not about the legs.
Yes, exactly.
Thanks for joining us, Silken. All the best. Have fun at the ball game, most of all.
Thank you very much.
Canadian Olympian, bronze medalist Silken Laumann tonight. Let's get back to the ball game.
Welcome back to the Skydome, where the hand is for Pat Borders as he stands in to begin the bottom of the fifth. Borders' home run off Tom Glavine, leading off the third, the only run in this ball game. And here's another look at it.
That ball staying on the middle of the plate, and one of the few mistakes that either pitcher has made so far. A lot of times, a guy will hit a ball out of the ballpark, and a pitcher will come back and say, boy, wasn't that a good pitch? Well, that one from Glavine was not a good pitch, but hitters do hit good pitches out of the park.
Borders out on the bounding ball to short. One out in the fifth. With his home run, his first time up, Pat Borders has had a hit in each of his last 12 postseason games now. That breaks the record for the longest postseason hitting streak by a catcher, which was shared by Borders, Yogi Berra, and Thurman Munson at 11 games apiece prior to tonight. The longest batting streak for a player of any position in postseason history, 17 games by Hank Bauer of the Yankees in the mid and late 50s. Manuel Lee bounced out his first time up. He's now 1 for 10 in the World Series. Check swing. They appeal down to first, and no swing, says Bob Davidson. A ball and a strike. Tom Glavine is 26 years old. He'll be married on November 7th to Carrie Dobbins, a native of Atlanta. Glavine hails from Billerica, Massachusetts. Up and in, 2-1.
Massachusetts has 4 players represented on both sides. There are 17 states represented on this 50-man squad.
Pendleton throws Lee out.
The roster for the World Series, 25, of course, for each team. 17 states represented, 3 foreign countries. And the state with the most players, California with 8, Texas with 5, and the Dominican Republic with 5. Jamaica has 1, Puerto Rico has 3 representatives playing for either club.
So in this first ever International World Series, it truly has an international flavor. This isn't the first time Atlanta and Toronto have competed for a big prize in the world of sports. They were the finalists to host the 1996 Olympic Games. And those games awarded to the city of Atlanta. Devon White, the batter. 2-0 the count. Matter of fact, the All Sports radio station here in Toronto has been running a promotion saying they took the Olympics from us. Let's take the World Series from them. White taking all the way on 2-0, and it's 2-1. David Cohn taking in the proceedings in what he calls his family room. He's in the Sky Dome Hotel. He says, when I come down to the clubhouse, it's like going to my basement. When I'm out on the field, it's like being in the family room.
If this series goes 6 games, David Cohn will be the pitcher on Saturday evening.
And that would be back in Atlanta. White fouls it straight back. The count is full. John Smoltz will start tomorrow night in Game 5. He's hoping when he takes the mound, this series will be tied at 2 wins apiece. White to right. He doubled in that direction his last time up, but this time Justice is there, and Glavine works just his second 1-2-3 inning. We'll return to Sky Dome after this word from your local station.
It took an incredible stretch of the imagination to create a car with a 125 horsepower engine that sips fuel at the rate of 5 tablespoons per kilometer. But to truly appreciate the new Civic sedan, all it takes is a remarkable stretch of road.
Did you assault Santiago with the intent of killing him?
No, sir.
What was your intent?
To train him, sir.
Tom Cruise, Jack Nicholson, Demi Moore, Kevin Bacon, Kiefer Sutherland, in a Rob Reiner film.
Son, we live in a world that has walls, and those walls have to be guarded by men with guns. Who's gonna do it? You?
I want to slam dunk this guy.
A Few Good Men. At theaters December 11th.
There are 2 types of 5-year guaranteed investment certificates on the market these days. One you can buy at the bank. And the other, as the saying goes, you can take to the bank. The Honda No Small Print Warranty. If accountants ran the world, everyone would drive a Honda.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV. Sponsored by Honda, the official car of the Toronto Blue Jays for the past 16 years.
Signs in the stands. And we've seen some outstanding baseball in both cities as well. Jimmy Key handles the comebacker from Berryhill. 1 pitch and 1 out in the Atlanta 6th.
Gives you an idea of how quickly you have to react. Jimmy Key releasing the ball, and after he releases it, he's about 55 feet away. Reacting quickly and makes a rather easy play out of it. Every time you see a shot like that, you think of the shot that Gil McDougall hit off the forehead of Herb Score in 1956. Eventually ruined his career, and a guy that, from what I've heard, could really throw. Had a terrific left arm.
Herb Score, now a very popular broadcaster for the Cleveland Indians. Key has retired 15 in a row. And working to Mark Lemke with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. Otis Nixon and Jeff Blauser singled consecutively to open the ball game. The Braves haven't managed anything against Key since then. 2 balls and a strike on Lemke, who was called out on strikes in the third, one of 5 strikeouts for Key tonight. Lemke will be followed by Otis Nixon. Devon White. 2 away. Here's Jim Cott.
Well, Sean and Tim, I think what's been impressive about watching Jimmy Key, we talked before the game, Glavine working on 3 days rest. Key didn't pitch much in September, and the question mark was he going to have good control? And he has had great command of all of his pitches. That's remarkable with as little as he's been able to work in the last month.
Kitty, when he did pitch in September, he was 5-0 in 6 starts. The Blue Jays 21-9 from September 1st to the end of the season. And Jimmy Key, their winningest pitcher. He's picking up where he left off.
And they had to be 21-9 as the Milwaukee Brewers were relentless in their pursuit in the American League East. Otis Nixon. The 1-0 pitch slapped to center. That drops in. And Nixon is 2 for 3 tonight. That's the first hit for Atlanta since Blauser singled after Nixon was picked off in the top of the first inning.
Earlier this afternoon, Pat Borders out working on his throwing with bullpen coach John Sullivan and the hitting instructor and ex-Major League catcher, Gene Tennis. You know, I've never seen that drill. He barehands it, works on his release. I think he's working on closing that left side and not hurrying the throw. He'll be tested here.
Well, Nixon must have a lot of thoughts running through his mind after having been picked off in the first inning. Oh, close play again. Otis froze for a moment as Key lifted the leg. And Pat Corrales steps in with some words of wisdom for Otis Nixon.
See, if that right foot of Jimmy Key goes behind the left leg, he is committed to go home. That was a borderline throw to first base. That right foot was even with the left leg. If it passes the left leg, he's got to go home. If not, he can go to first base. That's one of the keys to look off of Keys. One of Keys' keys.
Jimmy Key has such an outstanding pickoff move that Bobby Cox told us before the game tonight when he became the general manager of the Atlanta Braves and left the Toronto Blue Jays. One of the first things he did was to get a tape of Jimmy Key's pickoff move, and he gave it to the minor league pitching instructors in the Braves organization as an example of how they should teach their pitchers to work. Blauser down to third, Gruber the short way to force Nixon and end the inning. On to the bottom of the 6th in Game 4 of the World Series. The Blue Jays lead 1-0.
It's all been thought out. All engineered precisely where you want it. So where would you put an interior like this? In a coupe like this. Introducing the Chiva by Oldsmobile. Engineered to spoil you.
Gao is sound. Gao is motion. Gao is color. Gao is light. Gao is black. The television of choice in Japan. With a better picture, a better sound, and a sleeker design. Gao is now in Canada from Panasonic.
In Europe, things happen on time, right on schedule. Punctuality is the norm, and that makes Europe the ideal environment for UPS. Fact is, UPS has built the most comprehensive delivery network in Europe. So when you have a shipment going there that has to be on time, use the delivery company whose punctuality is a time-honored tradition. UPS. We run the tightest ship in Europe.
Like a rock
If you depend on your truck to last, here's news you should never forget. Of all the Chevy trucks built in the last 10 years, 98% are still going strong. That's higher than Dodge, higher than Ford, even higher than Toyota. Over the years, no other truck line is that dependable, foreign or domestic. Only Chevrolet. The most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
If it's big, it's on CTV.
Toronto leads 1-0 in Game 4 of the World Series, the second World Series game ever played outside the United States, and got off to such a great start last night, Tim. I thought the announcement that was made by the public address announcer concerning the flag issue before last night's game started diffused that whole situation. We really haven't heard a word about it since then.
It was one of the most inspirational pregame ceremonies that I have ever seen. The flag, of course, it's a big story. It was a big story before last night's game, being held upside down, a huge mistake. A mistake admitted by the Marine Corps, and they requested that they hold the Canadian flag last night while the Royal Canadian Mounted Police held the American flag. And telling you, the reaction from the crowd was just about as classy as you can get.
I think that's a great way to describe this city and the people who live here.
Absolutely.
Otis Nixon under the fly ball from Roberto Alomar. 1 out. In the bottom of the 6th, the Blue Jays batting against Tom Glavine with a 1-0 lead. The only run in this ball game came in the bottom of the 3rd on a home run starting that inning by Pat Borders. Joe Carter has bounced to 3rd and lined into a double play. Glavine working on his best string of the night now. He has set down 6 in a row. And Carter looks at ball 1 outside. He'll be followed by Dave Winfield. Two and 0. As Tim mentioned, in Game 1, Tom Glavine was drafted by the Los Angeles Kings of the National Hockey League in the 4th round of the NHL draft. While he was in high school in Massachusetts, he elected to pursue a baseball career. And you can tell the interest in the World Series when the Toronto Maple Leafs last night played a game less than an hour away in Hamilton, Ontario, a regular season game against the Ottawa Senators, and only sold about 6,000 tickets. They ordinarily sell out every game. Joe Carter is aboard on a walk. Just the second, make that the 3rd thrown by Tom Glavine. And that'll bring up Dave Winfield, who drew one of the 2 other walks thrown by Glavine that came in the 4th inning. Pendleton and Berryhill at the mound. Again, we cannot see into the bullpen from our vantage point to ascertain whether or not there is bullpen action. The managers can't see into the bullpens here either, but they do have the benefit of TV screens located in each dugout. There it is beyond Cito Gaston, and he can punch up either bullpen, see how his men are faring in his bullpen or who is warming up in the opposing team's bullpen.
That's their way of monitoring what goes on down there.
Excellent choice of words. 1 ball on Winfield. They didn't miss a trick when they put this place together.
They really didn't.
Carter at first, 1 out, bottom of the 6th, 1-0 Blue Jays. Toronto out hitting Atlanta 4-3. It's been an error-free ball game to this point.
Tell you who else didn't miss a trick. John Schuerholz of the Atlanta Braves putting this team together, nor Pat Gillick of the Toronto Blue Jays, the 2 general managers, respectively, of the Atlanta Braves and Toronto Blue Jays.
Glavine took a bit off that one and got it over. A ball and a strike on Winfield with Olerud on deck. Pat Gillick is certainly the architect of the Blue Jays' success. And their success considerable, considering that they did not enter Major League Baseball until 1977. They've had 10 consecutive winning seasons, including 1992, the longest current winning streak of any Major League team. Pat Gillick has announced his intention to retire after the 1994 season. He'll only be 57 years old, and he wants to relax and enjoy life. Chop to third. Pendleton gets Carter. Lemke couldn't get Winfield. Carter erased for the second out of the inning, and Winfield is aboard at first with 2 down. We're at the Sky Dome in Toronto for Game 4 of the 1992 World Series. Toronto leads 2-1, and the Blue Jays lead Game 4 1-0 with 2 outs and a runner aboard in the 6th inning. The only run in this game on Pat Border's leadoff home run in the bottom of the 3rd off Tom Glavine. Now John Olerud, who struck out swinging in the 2nd and then picked up his first hit of the World Series with a single in the 4th. He tried to hold up, but it was much too late. 0-1 on Olerud. Glavine to first. Lemke is playing in Windsor with John Olerud at the plate. He is the second baseman in name only.
I was thinking the same thing. Not only that, he's not playing Olerud to pull toward the hole with Hunter holding the runner on at first base. He's playing more towards second base. Pretty good idea that Glavine will pitch Olerud away.
He does, and it's a ball, 1-2.
The middle infielders in particular, well, they can see the signs that a catcher is flashing, so you'll see them move according to the pitch. If it's an off-speed pitch, they'll play a hitter more to pull. If it's a fastball away, they'll play him more the other way. This is a changeup here.
And bounce through the middle. Winfield around second. He'll continue toward third and get there as Nixon throws to second. So John Olerud is 2 for 3 tonight, and the Blue Jays threaten with 2 down in the 6th inning. Runners at first and third.
Here is the changeup, and it hits the mid of Damon Berryhill, but you see how Olerud waits so very well. Branch Rickey used to say, a quiet bat and a good ball. 6 words. A quiet bat and a good ball, and this guy has a quiet bat and swings at good pitches. Branch Rickey would love John Olerud.
Cito Gaston says when Olerud comes back to the bench, if he says a pitch was a ball, it was a ball, even if it was called a strike by the home plate umpire. He has a tremendous eye. Candy Maldonado is bounced to short and fly to left. 1-0 Toronto. They have a chance to build on that lead here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Glavine staying away, and he missed away. 1-0 on Maldonado.
We talked about a quiet bat with Olerud. Look how active the hands are of Candy Maldonado. Most hitters have movement in the hands. They do that to trigger their swing. Olerud, very, very unusual. His hands are so still when he approaches the ball, but not Candy Maldonado.
The 1-1 pitch. Late swing and a foul ball out of play to the right. Maldonado now 0 for 5 against Glavine in this World Series, and he's 2 for 16 lifetime against the Atlanta Southpaw. Maldonado at the plate with 2 outs. Winfield at third. And Olerud at first. In the 6th inning, Tom Glavine and the Braves trailing 1-0. The 1-2 pitch, fouled away. Maldonado, as a result of that success with runners on base, drove in 6 runs in 6 games in the League Championship Series against Oakland. And he drove in the game-winning run last night. Another 1-2 pitch on the corner, strike 3. Well, that was one of the few times tonight a borderline pitch went the pitcher's way. Ooh. On to the 7th. 1-0 Blue Jays.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV. Sponsored by Bell Canada.
A River Runs Through It is a masterpiece. As beautiful and moving a film as you are likely to see. 4 stars, a triumph for director Robert Redford. A River Runs Through It.
Coming October 30th.
Hi.
I did some number crunching last night. Guess how much of our business comes from out of town?
30%.
Try 48.
Oh.
And I looked at our long distance bill.
Oh?
Guess what we're spending? When did we start saving this much?
Since Bell looked at our long-distance calling and recommended a savings plan months ago.
With Bell, you get more than long-distance savings. Good price and reliable service. Today, that's real value.
Guess how much this bill is?
$14.50.
Right. Gotta go.
Long-distance business sense from Bell. Call us.
At Nissan, we believe just because your kids enjoy driving around in any old box doesn't mean you have to. That parents also have the right to come out and play. We believe a family vacation can actually be a vacation. And that sometimes parenthood requires shock absorbers. The new Nissan Quest, built for the human race.
Gao is sound. Gao is motion. Gao is color. Gao is light. Gao is black. The television of choice in Japan, with a better picture, a better sound, and a sleeker design. Gao is now in Canada from Panasonic.
CTV News presents the results of Canada's national referendum. Canada in Question, hosted by Lloyd Robertson and Pamela Wallin, Monday.
7th inning with Toronto leading 1-0 in Game 4 of the World Series. Jimmy Key's fastball missed to Terry Pendleton.
John, you're right. This ball was outside, and Tommy Glavine and the Braves get a break that they will gladly accept. First time that home plate umpire Dan Morrison has wandered out of that strike zone and called a pitch a strike.
And to his credit, he's been pretty consistent all night long, and that's really all the pitchers the hitters ask for,
right,
as long as you're consistent. But that time Maldonado called out on a pitch that was not a strike. Pendleton to left field, and Maldonado has room. Todd Stottlemyre has started throwing in the Toronto bullpen. Jimmy Key is cruising right along. He's only allowed 3 hits. The Braves have only had 3 base runners through 6 1/3 tonight. The Braves have combined 3 for 21 in this game, and they're now hitting 186 as a team in this World Series with only 2 extra base hits. That's how good your pitching is. If you hit 186 through nearly 4 full games and only have 2 extra base hits, you're going to be behind in the World Series. Lonnie Smith up there with a count of 0-1 and now 0-2. Jimmy Key has been most impressive tonight. Say that often about Jimmy Key, but he got the fastball by Lonnie Smith.
In last night's ball game, that remarkable catch by Devon White with Deion Sanders on at second base and Terry Pendleton on at first. Pendleton passes Sanders. He's out, and Sanders goes back to tag up. The throw to John Olerud over to Kelly Gruber, and what could have been and should have been a triple play was a double play initiated by a remarkable catch by Devon White. Some people even comparing it to Mays' catch in 1954, and Devon White, scary thing is he says, I've made better catches than that.
There's Deion Sanders, who's not in the lineup tonight for Atlanta. Justice again sends it in the direction of Devon White. This one a much more routine play. Jimmy Key works another 1-2-3 inning. It's stretch time, but they're coming to their feet anyway for Jimmy Key.
Hi.
I did some number crunching last night. Guess how much of our business comes from out of town?
30%.
Try 48.
Oh.
And I looked at our long distance bill.
Oh?
Guess what we're spending? When did we start saving this much?
Since Bell looked at our long-distance calling and recommended a savings plan months ago.
With Bell, you get more than long-distance savings. Good price and reliable service. Today, that's real value.
Guess how much this bill is?
$14.50.
Right. Gotta go.
Long-distance business sense from Bell. Call us.
Our main objective when we designed our new front-wheel drive minivan with standard anti-lock brakes was to make certain that it was the only car in its class. Period. Introducing the 1993 Villager. Quality is job one. It's working.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV. Sponsored by Bell Canada.
Midas will look at your brakes 49 different ways, free. Then we'll give you a guaranteed estimate and a certified brake specialist to fix them right. The free 49-point brake inspection. 49 reasons to trust your brakes to Midas.
Before you vote on October 26th, take a look at the entire Charlottetown Agreement. What it proposes are commitments to a new social and economic union, self-government for Aboriginal peoples, Senate reform, a rebalancing of government roles and responsibilities, a distinct society clause for Quebec. It's your right to be informed. It's important for you and for your country.
Under Siege. Hold on to your seats. This is the best action movie this year. Seagal explodes on screen as the new king of action. Steven Seagal, Under Siege. Now playing at a theater near you.
Diving one-handed catch by Ron Swoboda of that Brooks Robinson liner of the ninth inning. Helped hold the Orioles to one run. It sent the game into extra innings. Jets won it in 10, 2-1. Went on to win the series over Baltimore. Kelly Gruber with a swing and a miss for strike one. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Last time up, he bounced into a 6-4-3 double play. Glavine has been walking the tightrope in just about every inning. He's only worked 1, 2, 3 innings through the first 6.
Blue Jays have stranded runners in scoring position 4 of the 6 innings. So they have had chances to blow this game open with 2 out base hits.
1 and 2 now on Gruber. It's the bottom third of the order. Gruber, Borders, and Lee against Glavine. Two and 2. Bobby Cox a moment ago managed to chuckle despite the situation. Breaking ball bounced foul, still 2 and 2.
Situations like these, chuckles come through clenched teeth.
Kelly Gruber with some help last night from an old friend, Willie Upshaw, the former Blue Jay, who is serving as a minor league hitting instructor in the Toronto organization. Kelly said he got a couple of pointers from Upshaw before the game last night, helped him relax at the plate, and he thought it contributed to his home run. Gruber has battled all the way to a count of 3-2 for Cito Gaston. The payoff pitch to the leadoff batter is ball 4. The fourth walk thrown by Glavine. Tommy has only struck out one tonight, and that was rather 2 tonight. One of those was on the borderline pitch last inning to Maldonado. Gruber with decent speed. He's been slowed this season by injury. And Borders at the plate. He has accounted for the only run in this game with a leadoff home run in the third. Pete Smith, the right-hander, up again. Mike Stanton, the left-hander, up for the first time in the Atlanta bullpen. Ed Yost, the bullpen coach, in the middle. Borders bunts toward first, a foul ball.
Damon Berryhill 1 for 13. He did have the 3-run homer in game 1. And Pat Borders 5 for 11. And he's bunting in this situation? No way. I think he either missed a sign, or if he was sacrificing, I think it's a wrong play. I mean, here's your hottest hitter, right-hander against a left-handed pitcher. You have the hammer. It's a 1-0 ball game. I think you go for the throat in this situation. You don't play add-on baseball.
And you have the number 9 hitter on deck in the ice-cold Manuel Lee, who's just 1 for 11 in the series with a 0 for 2 tonight.
Devon White is in the hold, and he is 2 for 3 tonight. But coming into this game, he was ice-cold. 1 for 13, so he's 3 for 16, even though he is 2 for 3 tonight. But I think the odds are better if you swing away here. And, of course, you have to now with the count 0-2.
Bottom of the 7th, 1-0 Toronto. The 0-2 pitch is just inside. Glavine has been uncharacteristically wild tonight. He's walked 4 in 6 innings plus 1 batter. He averaged fewer than 3 walks per 9 innings this year. Borders back in the third was his first in 1992 off a left-handed pitcher. He hit 13 during the regular season, but amazingly, all of them were against right-handers. Pat Borders, a native of Lake Wales, Florida, at the plate with Kelly Gruber at first base and nobody out. Nixon was playing in left center. He has to drift to right center to make the catch. 1 out, and Gruber is back to first. Now Manuel Lee. He's 0 for 2. Has bounced to second and to third.
One thing Manuel Lee did this year, he cut down on his strikeouts. Last year, he became the only player in Major League history to have over 100 strikeouts with no home runs.
That's not a good combination.
No. It means your on-base percentage is way, way down. But he did have a much better year this year than he did last year. with the bat.
Struck out only 73 times and hit 3 homers and hit for a respectable average of .263. Gruber on the move. Lee taps it back to the mound. Glavine has to go to first. Gruber went sliding in the second base. Well, now his uniform matches his helmet.
Gruber on the hit and run. And all a manager can do for a hitter is try to give him a good pitch to hit. And Manuel Lee doing his imitation of Bruce Lee as he chops down on the high fastball. But really, that's all you can do is pick a pitcher who's always around the plate. Glavine has been like that, but the pitch was a little up. But Manuel Lee, on making the out, does push Gruber to second base.
So the Blue Jays have still another great chance to score as Glavine delivers to Devon White. Base hit left field. Gruber's being waved in. Gant with the throw to the plate. It is cut off. Throw to second. They have White in a rundown. The Blue Jays lead 2-0, and White is tagged out to end the inning. Gruber scores a big run on the third hit of the night by Devon White.
This ball scooting through to the outfield. And Devon White shrewdly trying to go to second base, making Terry Pendleton cut the ball off.
This is the factory of a leading North American tire maker. They make excellent tires with the kind of traction and mileage life you need. In fact, they're so good, we chose them to make Motomaster tires for Canadian Tire. So why don't we identify them? Maybe they're concerned that if you knew they also make Motomaster tires, which come with a nationwide road hazard warranty at no additional charge and a great Canadian Tire price, everybody will buy Motomaster tires. Maybe they're right. Motomaster, Canada's #1 selling replacement tires.
Nothing you've ever seen.
I am Dracula.
Nothing you've ever experienced. Nothing you've ever imagined.
Yes, my love.
Can prepare you for what's coming. Bram Stoker's Dracula, a Francis Ford Coppola film at theaters Friday the 13th of November.
At Mazda, little things like precision map lights and an illuminated driver's door lock are just as important as sophisticated styling. Available V6 power and more headroom and total legroom than either Camry or Accord. The 1993 626 Chronos from Mazda. Because we know you care about the little things too.
Pasteurizing and no preservatives. All it needed was a new shape. New Labatt Genuine Draft in the 30-sided can.
After 7, the Blue Jays lead 2-0 on a home run by Pat Borders in the third and a 2-out single by Devon White in the 7th that brought in Kelly Gruber. Jimmy Key has allowed only 3 hits without issuing a walk through 7. Kelly Gruber still a bit sore. You can see the scrape on his chin as he went sliding head first into home plate with the second run of the night for Toronto.
Here is the play by Ron Gant, and what Devon White does, he makes Pendleton cut the ball off. Now you might say, well, Gruber would have been safe at home anyway, but Devon White was making sure by trading an out for a run. Good base running by White.
A ball and a strike on Ron Gant. He's fly to right into center. He's the leadoff man in the 8th inning. Brian Hunter and Damon Berryhill scheduled to follow against Key. And should Key falter, Toronto is to the part of the ball game where its bullpen specializes. Dwayne Ward, ordinarily the setup man for Tom Henke, and he's warming up with David Wells in the bullpen. And got a piece of it. 2-2 the count. Gruber has also been bothered by a sore neck lately, and looked like that was bothering him during the break between innings. The trainer did come out onto the field. Breaking ball hammered past Gruber into the left field corner. It was not touched by any fans down there, and Ron Gant breaks an 0 for 16 with a leadoff double. The first extra base hit of the night for Atlanta, and just the third for the Braves in the World Series.
A breaking ball hammered between Gruber and the bag. Kelly way off the bag, of course, with the 2-run lead. It's interesting, had they not gotten the lead to 2 runs to 2-0 with that run, Gruber probably would have been on the line and sucks that ball up.
Our report from the field is that Kelly Gruber just had the wind knocked out of him, nothing more than that. He's close to the line now with Hunter at the plate. Hunter drops down a good bunt. Everybody is safe. Gruber was along the line and very deep at third. And Hunter bunted the ball past Jimmy Key so that he had no chance at it. Now the tying run is at first base with nobody out.
You have an idea of where Kelly Gruber was. He was deep, as Sean said. Jimmy Key has no play. Gruber has no play. And Brian Hunter catching everybody by surprise. That is a terrific bunt by Hunter.
Jimmy Williams threw a slew of signs for Berryhill and the 2 runners. Berryhill has struck out and bounced back to the mound. Borders looking into the dugout for help. We're in the 8th inning. Toronto leads 2-0. Berryhill pops up a bunt. Borders fields it in foul ground for the first out. Well, with Berryhill struggling, they were trying to get that tying run in a scoring position, but it backfired as he popped up the bunt.
I think the key word is struggling there. As a right-handed batter, Berryhill has not done well during the series. He elects to bunt, and the problem that Bobby Cox has, he can't pinch hit for Berryhill unless you want to go to a guy like Francisco Cabrera. If it's the 9th inning, that may be what he would have done. But it's the 8th inning, and they still need defense, but more than that, they need runs. Often, or more often than not, you do not play for a tie on the road. It's hard to tell whether Berryhill was bunting for a base hit or bunting just to push Hunter to second base.
Lemke lances it off Key. Charged by Gruber. He throws to first in time to get Lemke. Gant scores from third with the first Atlanta run of the night. It's 2-1. Position now with 2 outs as Brian Hunter moved up to second base.
And what a play by Kelly Gruber. Great reactions. Watch the ball hammered off Key's right foot, it appeared. Yep, right off the right arm. Now watch Gruber barehand the ball to make the only play he could to get Lemke by a step. Boy, that is a terrific reaction by Kelly Gruber.
As we mentioned last night, Cito Gaston thinks he might be the best defensive third baseman in all of Major League Baseball. He's played well in the field all year despite his season-long hitting problems. This will mark the end of the outing for Jimmy Key. The call has already been sent out for Dwayne Ward. Key, a longtime Blue Jay and one of their most popular players, and already they're on their feet for Jimmy Key as he gets ready to depart. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hold that tiger, hold that tiger, hold that tiger, hold that tiger.
Yes, the SO Tiger's back. Back to remind you that our long-standing commitment to service still holds true today. Whether it's full serve or self-serve, we'll do our best to get you on your way as fast as we can. At SO, giving you good service is how we earn our stripes.
You're on your way. With SO.
We're talking calories. Eva, banks? Just the size of them. My bank doesn't even know I'm alive.
But that's your bank. We're changing.
Oh, sure.
Really?
Okay, give me one simple example.
Today we have literally dozens of products and services. Like a Visa card that earns you Aeroplan miles. Or we'll even have people come to your home to help plan your retirement.
Want to be secure.
You can even do your banking from your living room at midnight. My job didn't even exist a while ago. I'm what we call a personal banker. I have a lot of customers that I meet with one-on-one. Which is the best bank? It's probably the bank that remembers everyone's different and treats them that way.
I said, don't get Eva started, but no.
We're changing. We're CIBC. Get us working for you.
The new Civic Hatchback SI. Captured on high-speed film. But it got away.
On tape moments ago, Jimmy Key departing to a roaring ovation here at the Sky Dome. He's been a member of the Blue Jays since 1984. Bypassed as a starter in the League Championship Series. Given a start here in the World Series when Cito Gaston decided to forego a three-man rotation. Boy, did he make that look like a smart move.
And his favorite big league manager ever, Bobby Cox, now the manager of the Braves. Dwayne Ward in there. He has won the two games that the Blue Jays have won in this series.
The last two games, Ward has been the winning pitcher. Greeted by Otis Nixon. The first pitch, a fastball for a strike. With Nixon up there batting left-handed, and with a tying run at second base, the outfield is very shallow.
Going to be very tough for Brian Hunter to score on a ball hit sharply at an outfielder. So if you're the runner at second, you have to cheat somewhere. So you have to get a better lead than you normally would.
2-1 Toronto in the eighth inning. The Braves have scored their first run of the night here in the eighth to knock Jimmy Key out. 1-1 the count on Nixon, who is 2 for 3 tonight. He came into the ball game 1 for 12 in the World Series. Dwayne Ward, a former Atlanta Brave. The 1-1 pitch, late swing by Nixon. Brian Hunter, the runner at second with 2 down. The 1-2 pitch by Ward, fouled away. In winning the last two games, Dwayne Ward, the first pitcher since Raleigh Eastwick in 1975 to win consecutive World Series games. Eastwick did it for the Cincinnati Reds against the Red Sox. Another 1-2 pitch, fouled away. Took a moment for many in the house to realize that Nixon got a piece of that ball.
And Brian Hunter, when Nixon made contact with the ball, Hunter was more than halfway to third base. With 2 outs and 2 strikes, the runner at second base on contact just takes off.
Two 2-1 Toronto. Top of the 8th inning. That is strike 3, and it gets away from Borders. It's up onto the screen. So Nixon is safe at first on the strikeout, and Brian Hunter is moved to third. A tremendous break for the Atlanta Braves. Nixon struck out. It should have been the end of the inning, but Borders couldn't play it.
Well, earlier we went back to 1941, and we saw Mickey Owen of the Brooklyn Dodgers on a pass ball with Hendricks, the batter, And that won it for the Yankees that year, and he never lived it down. Here it is 51 years later. And there is a strikeout and a ball that gets by Borders. Looked like a splitter from Ward. And now not only do you have a runner at third, but you have speed at first base in the person of Otis Nixon.
It's a strikeout for Ward. He's also charged with a wild pitch. Jeff Blauser at the plate. 1 for 3 tonight, a single back in the first inning. Nixon takes off. The pitch is a ball. Borders ignores Otis Nixon, who goes to second with a stolen base.
When you think about a pinch hitter in a situation like this, Jeff Blauser has really been struggling. Otis Nixon steals the base easily, but you have Deion Sanders on the bench, and he was 3 for 4 in last night's game.
And Sid Bream, another possibility, hitting .375 in the series.
Yep.
They do have the left-hander Wells throwing in the bullpen. That's down the line. Olerud to a knee to play it and end the inning. The Braves leave 2 men in scoring position. On to the bottom of the 8th at the Rocca Sky Dome. 2-1 Toronto.
And now, another Coca-Cola Sports Break. Here's Rod Blau.
It seems every night in this World Series there is a different hero. Last night it was Candy Maldonado, who told me earlier tonight that he had a strange feeling he could be the hero in Game 3.
Earlier in the series and maybe towards the end of the regular season, I said that you learn after all these years, you know, the things that maybe you did wrong that were able for you to produce and maybe feel comfortable in postseason play. So now you try to eliminate all those little thoughts, you know, about what other people would think, trying to do too much. And even so, the first 7 at-bats that I had, you know, it seems like I was feeling so good and so comfortable that I just wanted to hit the ball out of the ballpark. It wound up by pulling off the ball, and I'm not saying that would have been 7 for 7, no, but at least I would have shown that I could hit the ball the other way, and that was the first one that I really hit the other way.
Our main objective when we designed our new front-wheel drive minivan with standard anti-lock brakes was to make certain that it was the only car in its class. Period. Introducing the 1993 Villager. Quality is job one. It's working.
Things have been tough for Damon Berryhill since his Game 1 a home run. He thinks his team could be up in this series.
Yeah, I think so. You know, I think we could be up 3 games to nothing. We've played well at times, and then we've made bad mistakes at times. You got to give the Blue Jays credit. I mean, they've come up with big hits in certain situations. Like last night, Maldonado hit a. You know, I just saw the replay about 5 minutes ago, and he hit a great pitch. You know, give them credit. They've been doing the job, and we haven't done it yet.
Well, as the Atlanta Braves have lost back-to-back heartbreakers in games 2 and 3. Bobby Cox has come under a lot of criticism and second-guessing, and he's going to have to answer that question you raised after this one, Tim, about the lack of a pinch hitter for Jeff Blauser.
Against one of the toughest right-handed pitchers in the American League, Dwayne Ward.
Roberto Alomar begins the Toronto 8th. Blue Jays leading 2-1. Alomar, Carter, and Winfield coming up against Glavine, who's gone all the way.
You might say that, well, if you send up Sid Bream or Deion Sanders, then you're going to have David Wells in the game. Well, you're going to have a left-handed pitcher in there against whom left-handed hitters have hit .293 against, and you get Ward out of the game. I mean, he's your primary setup guy. I mean, would you trade David Wells for Dwayne Ward? I think any manager would say yes, especially with Jeff Blauser 4 for 34 in postseason play. Tell you, I don't see how he could not use a pinch hitter in that situation.
Deion Sanders still on the bench. Bream bypassed as well. They would have been the most logical pinch hitting candidates. Alomar threw the bat at the ball. He lifts a lazy fly to right. 1 out in the 8th inning. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Tim and I will select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 in the player's name to the Special Olympics. Sid Bream, still relegated to the role of spectator as well.
I think you'd go after a guy like Sanders with the tying run on third base, because Sanders can beat out an infield hit. That's another advantage you have with a guy who can run like Deion Sanders. You have the tying run on third base. I think you give yourself every opportunity. Of course, Sanders hadn't faced a left-handed pitcher in a long time. But if he makes contact in the infield, those high chopper varieties, it's a tie ball game. I mean, I think there are a lot of ways to go, but Jeff Blauser against Dwayne Ward is the worst of those ways.
Particularly with Blauser, 4 for his last 34.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss by Carter. 1-2 on the Toronto right fielder. He's batting with 1 out in the 8th. The Blue Jays lead 2-1 as they try to take a 3-1 lead in the World Series. Wayne Ward got them out of the problem in the 8th. Carter lines one to short. Blauser caught it. The Braves do have the heart of their order coming up in the top of the ninth. Batters 3, 4, and 5. Terry Pendleton, Lonnie Smith, and David Justice. Here's Dave Winfield, 0 for 2 with a walk. To short again. Blauser throws him out. Glavin works a 1-2-3-8. We go to the ninth. Pendleton, Smith, and Justice coming up for Atlanta. The Blue Jays lead 2-1.
Ever dreamt about being in the middle of the action? Well, Proline from Sports Select will put you front and center. Look for the game plan in this weekend's paper and get more out of the game. Proline, play to win.
Over the last 35 years, more than 10 million customers have come to Speedy Muffler King for real value. They've come for our $99.95 front disc brake package. They've come for licensed Speedy brake mechanics who replace only what's necessary. And they've come to be treated like a somebody. 10 million customers, over 10 million cars, enough to stretch around the world. And at Speedy, we worked on them one at a time. At Speedy, you're a somebody.
The 92 Mazdas are disappearing fast. Now get automatic transmission or equivalent credit on quality 92s, like the sleek MX-5 Miata, the enormously spacious MPV, the frisky, fun-loving 323, the surprising Protégé, and a whole herd of Mazda trucks. So this great offer backed by the Mazda Leadership Warranty, save them before they're gone for good.
Ever dreamt about being in the middle of the action? Well, Proline from Sports Select will put you front and center. Look for the game plan in this weekend's paper and get more out of the game. Proline, play to win.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV. Sponsored by Labatt Blue. Honest and true, you bet it's blue. By Imperial Oil and Esso Associates. You're on your way with Esso. And by your local bottler of Coca-Cola Classic, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball.
Tom Hinkie with 1 save in this series. In postseason play, he's 2-0 with 3 saves. He had 34 on the season. Dwayne Ward, whom he replaced, had 12. So 46 saves between the Hinkie-Ward tandem this season for the Blue Jays.
Hinkie on to protect a 1-run lead in the 9th inning. Facing batters 3, 4, and 5 for Atlanta. Pendleton, Smith, and Justice. Terry Pendleton 0 for 3 tonight. He's 3 for 15 in the World Series. The Blue Jays are guarding each line. And Hinkie's first pitch is a fork ball for ball one.
Terry Pendleton seeking some revenge. You may remember Sunday night's game after Deion Sanders and that terrific at bat had walked. Terry Pendleton made the last out against Tom Hinkie with the tying run on second base.
Pendleton taking all the way on 2-0. It's 2-1. Fastball fouled out of play. Now it's 2-2. In winning games 2 and 3, the Blue Jays made World Series history. It was the first time in World Series play that a team has come back to win 2 consecutive games in which they trailed in the 8th inning or later. Now the Braves trying to turn the tables on the Blue Jays tonight. The 2-2 pitch. He struck him out.
The splitter on the 2-2 count, that ball, the bottom falling out of it. And Terry Pendleton, who normally is tough to strike out, goes down the hands of a Hinkie sinker. That split finger fastball.
Lonnie Smith. Ball one just missed. Smith is 0 for 3 with the strikeout by Pendleton. Batters 3, 4, and 5 in the Atlanta lineup tonight. A combined 0 for 10. Not a good-looking swing. He tried to check it but couldn't.
I think Lonnie tried to lure Hinkie into thinking that he was going to take a strike. He took a very close pitch and now goes after a ball in the dirt.
1 out and the base is empty in the top of the 9th. Toronto leads 2-1. The 1-1 to Smith. Bounce foul and now it's 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Bounce back to the mound. Hinkie stumbled a bit, but threw him out. Two down in the 9th.
Hinkie falls to the first base side, recovers, and throws out Smith.
And the slide did not help to speed Lonnie Smith up on his trip toward first base. The Braves down to their final out in Game 4. David Justice is 0 for 3. Ball one, low and away. They do have the shift on this time for Justice.
And the outfield very, very deep to protect against the double. Joe Carter in right field near the track.
Justice with a high fly ball, not very deep. Maldonado is there. The Blue Jays win, and they lead the World Series 3-1. Mackey saves it for Jimmy Key as the Blue Jays win Game 4 by a final score of 2-1. We'll be back to Sky Dome with Pat O'Brien and Jim Cott in just a moment.
When Raymond Otwell of Whitehorse heard about MotoMaster's new long life antifreeze, he was a bit skeptical. After all, with an amazing new formula guaranteed for 4 years or 100,000 kilometers, that's enough to go around the world more than twice. Undaunted, he set out to test it himself. 100,000 kilometers later, Mr. Otwell came to 2 conclusions. You can't buy a better antifreeze than MotoMaster Long Life, and there really is no place like home. MotoMaster, exclusively at Canadian Tire.
If you like Rice Krispies, try new Triples. We think you'll do a Triple Take. Triples has tasty Rice Crisps, hearty Wheat Crisps, and sunny Corn Crisps. All together for a taste so good, so surprising, it'll turn your head. Yeah. New Triples could have you doing a
3 years ago, when we bought this place, Jen and I started to put money away for our dream kitchen. And as of Friday, we now have a grand total of $407 in our savings account.
I know. We're in a little trouble.
I don't know what's the matter with us. We just can't seem to get anywhere. I agree with you. We both have decent jobs. I'd like to think we're responsible. Oh, we've learned to live with the disappointment. It's the hope that's killing us.
You know, it's kind of a drag. We used to get to see each other more often in those days. Now all we're doing is working so we can pay for all this stuff.
Well, you are the only one who can take care of you. We can help.
I know we have money. It's sort of slipping away. The only way it's going.
Today, we have dozens of new and constantly changing tools that make dreams just a matter of time.
Wipe out a few major expenses. We'll be okay.
We're changing. We're CIBC. Get us working for you.
Pat O'Brien back at Skydome, where they are getting used to celebrating. Toronto is now 1 game away from winning the 1992 World Series, and obviously the first World Series for a Canadian team and for this franchise, which has been frustrated for so very, very long. Let's go down in the field now to Jim Cott. Jim?
All right, thanks a lot, Pat. A couple of heroes in tonight's game, and one will join us later, Jimmy Key, the winning pitcher. But Pat Borders, a phenomenal off-season hitting, or rather postseason, and also an outstanding job of catching. First, let's talk hitting. You look like your swing is a little shorter and more compact, is it?
Yeah, I haven't been trying to hit the long ball. I'm just trying to get a couple of hits so maybe we can score some runs. And, you know, this one here happened to be a changeup up in the zone, and didn't get real good wood on it, but it kind of scraped the back of the wall getting out of here.
Larry Heisel, your hitting coach, says you are more selective now, and that seems to be a bit of improvement also.
I think that's due to I'm just trying to hit the ball instead of trying to hit home runs and do a little power hit, and just trying to hit the ball up the middle and stay on it, and it's giving me a better look at the ball.
Talk about Jimmy Key's performance after not pitching much or at all really in postseason as a starter. He was sharp as if he'd been out there every 4 or 5 days.
Well, the last 5-6 starts he's had, he's thrown the ball real well. He's had great control, and today he had that same great control. He threw one game in Oakland, during the playoffs there, and he threw the ball with great control there. When he's got his control, he's a real tough pitcher. He's similar to Lavin.
All right, let's talk about your big moment, and we're going to get a look at it right here, the home run. You said this was a changeup?
Yeah, it was a changeup in the middle of the plate. I didn't know if I got enough of, but like I said, it scraped the back of the wall.
All right, Pat, congratulations on a great night. Another one of tonight's heroes, Devon White, not only tonight, but last night. And Devon, first of all, the feeling after getting the RBI that knocked in run number 2.
Well, it's a great feeling. You know, we needed that insurance run, and it proved to be a good one.
Last night, I think your play turned the series around. That catch, and yet you said that might not have been one of your best catches.
Well, you know, in the World Series, it's got to be my best catch. But I've been making plays like that throughout my career. But that one is just pretty much magnifying.
Well, it's a special when it helped the Blue Jays. Let's go back to Pat O'Brien.
Is noted that another catcher is the hero of this ball game, and aptly named with Canada and the United States, Pat Borders. We'll be back in a moment from Skydome. The celebration continues.
With brighter colors and sharper contrast, Sony Trinitron's exclusive one-gun picture tube catches all the action. Sony, the best picture on the mound.
At Mackenzie Financial Corporation, we manage some of Canada's largest equity mutual funds. When you invest in any of them, you're buying ownership in many of the country's most successful companies, selected from our most vital industries, serving markets in Canada and around the world. Speak to an independent investment fund dealer or stockbroker today and expand your investment horizons close to home.
Mackenzie and the Industrial Group of Funds, looking both ways to manage your money.
125 years is something to celebrate. We can all take pride in Canada being ranked the #1 country in the world in such a short time. The spirit that has made this achievement possible will make this country all the greater, now and into the future.
Love, for love of this country, a land built strong and free, for all of those who stand up proud and say they love it clear and loud, for all of those who can see what together we can be. Pour ceux qui demandent bien grand, grandir notre nation. Raise your voice, sing together, Canada.
You can still catch a taste of summer at Swiss Chalet. For just $5.45, enjoy a meaty half rack of our oh-so-succulent side ribs, along with your choice of crispy golden French fries, a garden-fresh chalet salad, or a piping hot baked potato. All for just $5.45. So hurry down to Swiss Chalet because the late summer rib special gets blown away November 18th.
October 26th marks the end of a long and passionate debate on Canada's Constitution, and CTV News will be on hand for Canadians with the most comprehensive television coverage in the country. Canada in Question, hosted by Gemini Award winners Lloyd Robertson and Pamela Wallen, with special reports and commentary from CTV's experienced news team, featuring up-to-the-minute voting results of Canada's national referendum. Canada in Question, presented by CTV News, making your world make sense.
For those of you who keep track of these things, and we know a lot of you do, this was the fastest game in World Series history in the last 7 years, 2 hours and 21 minutes, and at that rate, maybe even Sean O'Brien saw the game tonight. The Blue Jays win 2-1. The Chevrolet player of the game is Jimmy Key of the Toronto Blue Jays. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 in his behalf, American, to the Special Olympics. Let's go down to Kitty Cotton.
All right, Pat, the two quick-working lefties. In fact, the pitching in this series has been fantastic. Steve Avery and Tom Glavine, remarkable pitching in a losing effort. Why? Because of Guzman last night, and tonight Jimmy Key. And coming off 16 days of rest and having that kind of control, how did you stay sharp with all that rest?
Well, I just tried when I was through on the side during the playoffs and during this World Series. I tried to really be focused in what I was doing, and because I knew I possibly would get a chance, and I wanted to be on my best, and it paid off tonight. I had the ball where I wanted to after the first inning. I got very fortunate in the first inning. I felt they hit a couple balls hard. We caught them, and then after that, I started getting the balls in the zones I wanted them, and when I do that, I usually pitch very well, and things rolled along pretty smoothly for me.
Great reception coming off here from this crowd. You've been a favorite here a long time. That feeling walking off the mound.
It's probably the best feeling I've ever had here. You know, I pitched in the All-Star game here last year, but to pitch like this in a World Series in front of the home crowd, it's been a great career for me here, and we'll see if I'm back next year, but I really enjoyed tonight. I had a lot of fun with it.
Jimmy Key, tonight's winning pitcher. Let's go back to Pat O'Brien.
All right, Kitty, and speaking of pitchers, of course, it's not over until it's over, the old cliche, but the Braves must now beat Jack Morris, David Cone, and Juan Guzman to win this thing. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Weekend. No tie, no briefcase, just plastic.
It all boils down to this. No other card you can carry is accepted in more places and in more ways.
Food.
At home and abroad.
I got it.
Than MasterCard. It's the only card you need.
Rooms.
MasterCard.
Not a bad day's work.
Master the moment.
I don't need some fancy cologne to tell me I'm a man. I use Skin Bracer. It smells great, but it also cools and tones my skin. Confidence is very sexy, don't you think? Skin Bracer Aftershave.
By Menon.
I don't remember. It was something.
The Nicoderm patch. Nicotine transdermal system.
Yeah, it's called Nicoderm.
Oh, yeah, the patch.
Right, it's a patch. Nicoderm. A lot of people don't know about it.
You know, maybe I'll ask my doctor. Nicoderm. It's a patch, huh?
Yeah, it's a patch.
Nicoderm, derm, by prescription only.
And once again, the final score of Game 4, Toronto 2 and Atlanta 1. And so Toronto takes a commanding 3-1 lead. The Blue Jays are 1 win away from a world championship. And we'll have Game 5 for you tomorrow night beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time here on CBS.
CBS Sports coverage of Game 4 of the 1992 World Series is brought to you by Sprint, not just another phone company. A River Runs Through It, a new film from Columbia Pictures. And by Mr. Goodwrench, the GM expert at participating GM dealerships.
You've been watching the 1992 World Series here on CBS Sports. Perhaps this says it all for Toronto. Tough, hard work gets the job done. One more big night at the office. They are the world champs. We'll see you all tomorrow night, everybody.